Peace and Black Power. Shalom. All praises to the Almighty Power, who I call Yahweh. Assalamu alaikum, Islam, Hotep, Namaste. And I think that's pretty much all of the greetings that I know right now. Today, I'm going to continue on my series about alchemy. And this part of this series, I'm going to use specific verses from chapters and scriptures in the Bible. The reason I'd like to do that is, as you see the title, I'm going to talk about alchemy and the Transfiguration, but not just the Transfiguration. I'm going to also tie in different aspects for us to ponder on. Resurrection, where the Transfiguration took place, and where resurrection ultimately also takes place. And I also want to touch on a little bit about physics, not a lot, pretty much just talk about energies. We talk a lot about magnetism in part 1, and even a little bit of part 2, but we're also going to talk about electricity, focus on electricity. Not too much, but I will reference and talk about electricity in this series, just because electricity is a big reason for, it's a life force in us, and it's a big part of alchemy, the changing, the molecular connections and changes of things. There's electricity in us, and it has an effect on us. That same thought that electricity is within us, and we're one with the, how do you say, the Earth's electricity, or the ionosphere. With all that understood, that also extends out of this realm. So electricity, we don't even know a lot about all the energies that are present in this realm. We actually only know about 3: magnetism, radiation, electricity. So you can look at electricity, and there is information, paranormal information, that electricity extends outside of this particular realm, or this ionosphere, this existence. Those aren't all the same, but I'm just listing everything that electricity transcends. With that understood, when we talk about the Transfiguration, and we talk about the resurrection and how it took place, we will be able to discuss, tie that into in a scientific way, something physical, something that has to do with physics. So with that said, I was going to actually stop this and then see how it looks, but I'll just keep going. Okay, so I said I'm going to use scripture because we're going to talk about the Transfiguration, but what we're going to do is take this before, we're going to go back a little bit in other chapters. We'll start in Matthew 14. The Transfiguration is spoken of in Matthew 17. But it is very important to talk about what took place in Matthew 14 and what prompted, I say Yahushua, some people say Jesus, what prompted the Messiah in the Bible, in the history, in the what took place chronologically, in the procession of things. We need to go back and find out what set his spirit on the course of revealing his resurrected self, which I just gave it away. Transfiguration is just it's an alchemical process of the flesh being transformed into light, into electricity. I'm going to have to turn this off. 1 second. I like that. Maybe I'll turn it on. It's like flickering. Okay, y'all, you know I'm doing this live, so. Okay, one more time. Let me try it. Okay, I just got to leave it like that. All right, so without further ado, let me start reading. Let me see. Let me start reading Matthew 14. Okay, so Matthew 14 says, now remember, we're going all the way back to see what in his spirit pushed him to know that he has to go to that level of the time is coming here. Let me reveal myself. And there's some other things I want to speak about as well. So I know dragging this out, but let me go and read this. Okay. Chapter 14 says, at that time, Herod the Tetrarch, head of the fame of Yahushai, and I'm sorry, not head, heard. Let me start over. At that time, Herod the Tetrarch heard of the fame of Yahushai, Jesus, and said unto his servants, this is John the Baptist. He is risen from the dead. Oh, yes, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him. So Herod was thinking John the Baptist has been resurrected, and he's Yahushai. Whenever I say Yahushai, I'm meaning Jesus. That's what I call the Messiah. Okay, so verse 3 says, for Herod, when this is going to go into the death of John. For Herod had laid hold on John and bound him and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. So he was committing adultery with this woman. For John said unto Herod, for having a sexual relationship with his brother's wife, John the Baptist, the prophet at the time, told Herod, said unto him, it is not lawful for thee to have her. And when he would have put him to death, so when John said that to Herod, Herod was like, I'm gonna put you to death, tell me what to do. But Herod feared the multitude because they counted John as a prophet. But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before him and pleased Herod. Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. So he's promising this woman, his niece, he can give her any gift she wanted, because I guess she really did well in the dance. Verse 8 says, and she, being before instructed of her mother, said, give me here John Baptist's head in a charger. Her mom said, ask for John the Baptist's head for rebuking them for committing adultery. Verse 9, and the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her. And he sent and beheaded John in the prison. Now, John the Baptist was known to be Elijah, resurrected, the prophet Elijah. Okay, that's spoken of in different parts of this gospel, but I'm just going to let you know that he was known to be Elijah. Okay, so verse 10. So he sent and beheaded John in prison, and his head was brought in a charger and given to the damsel, and she brought it to her mother. And his disciples came and took up the body and buried it. and went and told Yahushua. And when Yahushua heard it, he departed thence by ship into a desert place apart. And when the people had heard thereof, they followed him on foot out of the city. Now, a lot of people interpret this as, oh, Yahushua was nervous. You know, he felt fear for his life. Now, that interpretation, I'm not saying it's wrong, but we also want to look at, he was the prophet of prophets. He was completely in tune with what would take place, and he understood signs and everything leading closer to his murder, his, crucifixion and resurrection. So when he saw this happen, he went into a mode of, okay, time for me to start moving toward a particular place, which again, there are a few chapters before 17, but we're going to go into it. So he gets in a ship and he leaves and he goes into a deserted place. But of course, he's very he's very famous. People know of him, so they obviously follow him where he goes. And verse 14, and Yahushua went forth and saw a great multitude and was moved with compassion toward them, and he healed their sick. So even though he knew his impending fate was coming, and he was moving toward an area where he was going to manifest himself or transfigure himself in an alchemical way, showing, okay, look, I can overcome flesh. We can overcome flesh. Even though he knew that was what he was doing, he still had the compassion and the mercy to help others, to love others. Remember in the first series of this the alchemy series, we talked about the gold people helping the lead people magnetize or vibrate into their higher selves and transform in a process of alchemical love from lead people to gold people. So as you see, and how do the gold people help the lead people do that? Through love and mercy. And as you see in verse 14, he's had compassion and he started to heal people. He wasn't like, I got a mission to do. I'm going somewhere to transfigure. No, along the way, he magnetized people, by the way. People were drawn to him and his energy. So that also speaks about the process of alchemy and love. Okay, so verse 15. And when it was evening, his disciples came to him saying, this is a desert place, and the time is now past. Send the multitude away, and they may go into the villages and buy themselves some victuals. So the disciples, his apostles, were like, look, Lord, it's getting late. Let's get these people out of here. Let them go buy themselves some food because we don't have anything for them. Get what I'm saying? So I did the neck roll because, it's like, let's have them leave. So verse 16, but Yahushua said unto them, they need not depart. Give ye them to eat. You see, the love. The love was there. It's not about people focusing on, oh, he's not real. It's about, I know he was real, by the way. It's not about people saying, oh, you worship him. No, it's about, look, he's saying, I am 100% the example of how you will be able to transform yourself to your highest self. So as a man, he's doing such compassionate things, even though he knows his impending fate is coming, even though he knows there is a desolate, dark, scratch that, a desolate, very tragic time coming for him. He still loves others. So he says, bring them. So then he says, give them to eat. And then 17, and they say unto him, we have here but 5 loaves and 2 fish. And he said back to his disciples, bring them here to me. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass. And he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and brake and gave the loaves to his disciples, the disciples to the multitude. He's got such an elevated self. He transcends absolutely everything that is material, that he was capable to say, I can feed them. This is enough food. And it actually manifests itself as an abundance of bread and fish. It's very, very alchemical. It's very it leads you to think about quantum physics, because again, we're talking about things on an atomic level. We're talking about the things, everything on atomic level. Like it's not like, wow, that's so stupid. He made all this bread and all this fish. No, it's not, because the thought, remember that we're talking about electricity, we're talking about alchemy, we're talking about, if you want to say spiritual, that's awesome. But I'm trying to keep it on a level for those who just, say, oh, it's a fairy tale. No, we're talking about him manifesting because of his high elevated self and his belief. And first and foremost, I'm sorry, please, Salakia, almighty power. First and foremost, he took, he blessed the food. He looked up. It's a motion to look up to your highest self. Remember, I said the crystal seat of the mind. Where's the power come from? It comes down, in a sense, or, into this realm from the almighty power. So before he did anything, or he worked this miracle, which can be done by anyone, he knew, I first have to call upon, invoke the power from the Almighty, or because nothing's possible. I have to open up, in a sense, my myself, my crown, bringing in the power into the altar that I've set up, because I'm praising and exalting the power of the Almighty. And then the Almighty grants the power to you through the crystal seat of the mind, and then it comes down and he works it all. In the basic thought, you can call this electricity. This isn't just about the Bible, Judaism, Christian, Judeo religion. Even in Kemet, it's known that pyramids, which are, there's a lot of mystery around them, but pyramids were set up to receive energy from the force that is not just out in the vibrating in the universe, not just, and then coming down, not just vibrating in the ionosphere, but energy that comes from a source that is forever sending energy to us, which is the Almighty. It's known as, for me, the Almighty power. So it's not just about Christianity. He understood, I can get this bread, this fish, I have the power to make anything manifest materially. I can even transform my physical self, knowing that I have the power to manipulate, for lack of better words, matter and energy, spirit. And so this realm is all mine. There is nothing that I cannot accomplish. So moving right along. So, and they all ate and were filled, and they took up the fragments that remained, 12 baskets full. So not only did they have enough, they had leftovers. And they had eaten were about 5,000 men, beside women and children. And straightway Yahushua constrained his disciples to get into a ship, to go before him unto the other side, when he sent the multitude away. So he fed them. He fed them in their spirit with his sermon, with his vibration. He was working out of the process of alchemy and love, helping them go from their base elemental self to vibrate to precious metals, symbolically, metaphorically, I should say. So, okay, so, and when he had, okay, so he sent them away, verse 23. And when he had sent the multitude away, he went up into a mountain. Remember, the mountains are very, very crucial in the process of alchemy, in the process of transfiguration, in the process of holy, sacred transformation. Okay, again, that's also seen in the pyramids. Okay, so the ship was now in the midst of the sea, and so this talks about how we're talking of, see, this is very crucial. I know it might seem tedious, but I got to read all of this because now, remember, he's heard about the murder of John. He starts to move in a procession of transformation. His transfiguration didn't only start and end on that mountain when we get to Matthew 17. He's working it at this point. And as he works it, he was always selfless, meaning he was always magnetizing that love, that energy out to help others understand their power, and the power that sits in the crystal seat of the mind, the power that sits within self, that God-like power, or you are God. You be ye like your Father in heaven. So I don't say God, but I just for the audience, I don't call the Almighty God, but for the audience, you get what I'm saying? So he's manifesting right now. And when I say manifesting, he's taking, if you want to look at it like going from inside out, like you see it in everything. Certain insects molt. They molt. We've got the cicada that molts. Roaches molt. I'm sorry, it's gross. Lots of insects molt. And what they do, see, there's always that microcosm you can look at to think of, to prove the macrocosm. You don't need to look in a book that someone has already written. Of course, we can look in a book to say, okay, let me give you this example. But I'm saying you don't necessarily have to look in a book to prove it. You can look in nature. You can look into the natural order of self. If you are vibrating on that level, that higher level, the highest level, or close to your higher self. Okay, so, excuse me, I digress, but it's all a beautiful, a beautiful construct, okay? Put it that way. So I'm putting together a beautiful production. So let's get back to this. So when they're in the ship on verse 24, but the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. So it was getting rough. Verse 25, and in the fourth watch of the night, AL-KHEM-Y went unto them walking on the sea. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. Because see, they were vibrating on a lower level, lower plane. He was, in a sense, purifying them, just as gold is purified in the fire. Even if you don't look at it as purification, let's get back to the alchemy. He was taking them from their base elemental self, not even testing, but exercising their faith. So see right there, they're scared. They're vibrating on a lower vibration. Not that doesn't mean they're evil. That doesn't mean they're not excellent disciples. It means that they needed to be taken and transformed to be on their path to do what he was set to do and what we've all been set to do, but what he came to do and show us an example of. So they cried out of fear. Verse 27 says, but straightway Yahushua spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. So Peter's like, hey, yeah, because he felt so safe with the Messiah. He loved the Messiah. He loves the Messiah. So, and he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahushua. So Peter, he was, in his vibrating in his right mental, so-called mental state, in his right vibrational state. And some people don't like to hear this, but in his faith, he understood, just like with the bread and the fish, Yahushua aligned with the almighty power, exalting and invoking the power of the Almighty. He could do whatever he wanted as far as with the material. He could manipulate matter. Peter, in this sense, being of his balanced self, he said, oh, I know I can do it because my faith, now hold on to this, I believe and trust Yahushua. Okay? Now, remember, he's trusting Yahushua, but what is Yahushua doing? He's showing Peter, yes, we know that Yahushua says, have faith in me. But remember, this is a path, a journey from him seeing the destruction of John to him taking his people to see, look, I'm about to transmute. I'm going to transfigure. I'm going to resurrect. So the reason I'm saying this is, yes, Peter has faith in Yahushua, but Yahushua wants Peter to have faith in the power of the Almighty, which is what Yahushua says, I do it, you can do it. So that's what he wants. And we'll read that. Let's go on and prove that in what's said in here. So I'll go back to 29. And he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahushua. Verse 30 says, but when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. See, he was focusing on his faith in Yahushua. But remember, Yahushua is proving to him, although, yes, 100% I believe, because of what I've learned, Yahushua is the Messiah, and Yahushua was the only perfect man that had ever lived, and that is why he also proof of him being the Messiah, that he lived as a perfect man in every way. I'm not just talking about keeping the natural laws, aka Torah. I'm talking about absolutely every connection, every aspect. He was perfect, and he was knowledgeable of absolutely everything that he could be knowledgeable of in self. So with that said, he wanted Peter to also have that type of power. He wanted Peter to know, look, I'm walking on the water because I have faith in the Almighty, the power that the Almighty, again, I keep doing this because it comes down. I have faith in the Almighty power who gives me this ability. And then it's not that I should put my faith in this power that's given to me. Hear me clearly. Those who want to try to say, oh, she's going against Yahushua. No, I'm talking about one power, Yahweh Echad, who Yahushua also speaks of. He says there's only one good. So remember, Peter was giving the power, was having the faith in Yahushua, who was on a path, doing a journey, doing a process of, I've got to show them the manipulation, the alchemy of the flesh turning into something else, the flesh turning into pure electric light, excuse me, aka spirit. And then in this process, how is he doing it? He says, I must let them see that they not only can do miracles like the bread and the fish, they can do walking on water, but it's not that they will have the faith in me, because I'm going to go. It's that they must have the faith in, well, the power that the faith in Yahweh, and that power that he blesses us with. That's where he wants to show them. All praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. I'm feeling the spirit completely strong. This is absolute truth, and I say it's truth because I feel it, and I know people who understand, who can get past all this BS about religion. They can hear it and say, oh, that makes sense. So those who've said, oh, worship him, no, he actually was saying, come on out here. Come on, I'm doing it. You will have this power. And where does the power come from? It comes from the Almighty, Yahweh. Now people say, oh, she doesn't have a head wrap. This isn't a moment for me to block my crown, to put something in between the crystal seat of the mind and the Almighty. I need to stay clear on what I'm saying. Now, if I was just quoting some scriptures and being traditional, to be respectful to a certain tradition, which would be Hebrew Israelite, some Christian religions, and some Islam, I'd throw a I'd throw a wrap on my head. But right now, it's very important that we talk about an elevated self. We look and we tap into the esoteric side, the deeper, profound meaning of what has taken place and what's been documented and what's been written. Okay, so I digress, but there was a reason. So yes, Peter gets afraid because the faith wasn't coming. He didn't tap into the faith from the Almighty and the power. He was focusing his faith in Yahushua, which is not wrong to trust friends. It's not wrong to trust the Messiah, but that wasn't the lesson that was supposed to be going on right here. The lesson was, you must know how to overcome the material. Where's the alchemy? You must totally know how to take something out of nothing and make it manifest. So here, look, on 30, what does Peter say? Peter cries out, Lord, save me. Now, does that mean that it's wrong? No, we're not talking about evil, and we're talking about a vibration where he was in himself and where he was supposed to be alchemically. I'm not saying Peter was a led person, but he wasn't vibrating at that moment on his highest on his highest self. Okay, so he says, Lord, save me, because that's where his mind was, focusing the powers coming from Yahushua, not focusing powers coming from the Almighty, not realizing, well, Yahushua is getting the power from the Almighty. Yahushua is showing me that the power comes from the Almighty in these miracles. I'm not supposed to think power comes from Jesus. That's what's wrong with a lot of Christians. Not saying that Yahushua is not the absolute Messiah and a pillar, and I look to him and say, praise him for all. Yes, praise in the context of good, like when you praise, when Yahweh says, praise him for the good things that he's done, like I'm well pleased. So that's what I mean by praise. I have to be very careful because I don't worship Yahushua, but I do praise Yahushua for what he's shown us, so we can be our highest selves. So I digress. So Peter's like, Lord, save me. And when they were coming to the ship, he's Lord, save me. And immediately, Yahushua, of course, stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, boom, there it is right there, y'all. Need I say no anymore? Need I say anymore? He didn't say, oh, yes, Peter. Yeah, buddy. Oh, it's okay. Come to Yahushua. He's like, oh, thou of little faith. Wherefore didst thou doubt? Boom. So if Yahushua wanted Peter to say, oh, yeah, I'm getting all this power from Jesus, he wouldn't have rebuked him and said, look at you over here. Not even thinking where your power's coming from. But he still loved him. It wasn't like he hit him upside the head, but he's like, come on, man. Y'all got to get this right, because we need to transform. Where's the alchemy? We need to transfigure. All of us need to change. We all need to change into our highest selves. We need to be able to transmute from the flesh into light and back again. We need to be able to go through these doors. And that's what we're going to be able to do. We're going to be able to do that one day. And it's not going to be how science right now and the knowledge of man, which is a lower vibrational knowledge. However, it is very, very intelligent. There's a lot of intelligence, but it can't compare to the power that we receive from aligning. Okay, all power is from the Almighty, all power. But if you're getting it from the side, from under your armpit, you're trying to reach it with your toe, you're not doing it right. You're trying to keep yourself aligned so you can have full power. You don't want that baby. You don't want to be in the kiddie pool. You want to be in the ocean. So I digress. So basically, he's like, yeah, come on. I need you to be your high selves. The time is near. He knew John the Baptist, Elijah. The time's unfolding. So immediately he stretched his hands out, told him, ye of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? See, it's not just about him being afraid. That's why I said there's an exoteric and an esoteric. When we look deeper, right now, through the spirit of Yahweh, the almighty power, who I refer to as Yahweh, through the almighty power, I'm helping or trying my best to break down or go deeper into a more profound message. It's not that deep, though. So, verse 32, and when they were coming to the ship, the wind ceased. And then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, of a truth, thou art the Son of God. And when they were gone over, they came into the land of Gennesaret, or I guess it's Gennesaret or Gennesaret. Verse 35, and when the men of the place had knowledge of him, so the people of Gennesaret, found out that he was there, they sent out into all that country round about and brought unto him all that were diseased. So people already knew of his power. They knew of him, and not just his power, of his mercy and compassion and generosity. These are characteristics that blow you up, meaning that force field, that magnetic field that I told you about, that's about 3 to 6 feet outside of you, like the halos that you see depicted in iconic art, So they knew about him, and they knew that he was generous, merciful, kind, and on top of that, he could manipulate the material, the world. He could work miracles. Okay, so they went and got everybody and brought them to him. Verse 36, and besought him that they might only touch the hem of his garment. And as many as touched were made perfectly whole. So see, right there too, people might say, oh, I thought you said it wasn't about him. I'm saying he wanted to show people, certain people, by the way, meaning his disciples especially, You know, he wasn't like, hey, everybody that's coming to heal. It was, there's levels to it. You know, some people couldn't receive what he wanted to give to the disciples. You know, he didn't take the whole multitude and say, y'all, come on, walk out in the ocean. Come on, let's get this going. You know, like that ridiculous, sorry to say ridiculous, like that feat that I heard Kanye West did with some church. He had specific information to give specific people who he knew were very close to being, you know, Peter, come on, he's the church. He was the rock. So what I'm saying is, of course, when they touched the hem of his garment, because he was holy. And remember, we're talking about, when I say holy, I'm not saying let's throw on our religious hats. I'm going to interchange that word with, he was magnetizing. That's a true energy. He was magnetizing the spirit that he received from the Almighty. He was, and that was the power that Yahweh bestowed on him. He wasn't the same as every man, obviously. As I said, he was 100% perfect, prophesied of, because he was sent to do this specifically. He was sent to show us perfection, balanced, wow, perfection in spirit, balanced with flesh. That's the power that he had. So when they touched the hem of his garment, of course they were healed. You know what? I just looked and said, oh my gosh, am I even live? One time I didn't hit live and I just was going. Okay, so we got through chapter 14. So remember, he's building up to the transfiguration, the alchemy of turning flesh into vibrant, brilliant, illuminated, electric spirit. It's amazing. Chapter 15. Now, in chapter 15, he's moving along, moving toward a specific mountain. Okay. Remember what I said? We need to focus on mountains with the spirit, because something about the shape, something about the geometry of certain mountains. Look at the pyramids. Not only were the pyramids receiving, I believe they were conduits for electricity. I don't believe that that was their main purpose. From my meditation and very limited knowledge, but very solid research about pyramids, they powered the civilization, but that was not their first. That they were multi-purpose, but the first and the ultimate reason for the pyramid. Now remember, we've got the pyramid, same shape as the mountain, which was probably, as I deduce ancient information from long before man. Well, from the beginning of mankind. That's what I'm trying to say. Long before that actual civilization. I know everybody's like, Kim, it's the first civilization. I don't get into all that. I will start studying that. But what I'm saying is that was ancient known knowledge that electric spiritual energy could be brought down, harnessed from the cosmos, from outside of this ionosphere, and taken into a body, a mound of stone, which is a mountain. Well, mammoth mound, stone. That's why mountains are referred to in absolutely, again, just like the serpent. Every spiritual writing, every faith has a reference to a mountain. Kemet is no different. Kemet, the mysteries of the pyramids, they're mountains. That's the shape, that mountainous shape. And what happens, I'm saying, I'm getting to, I said he's going to a particular mountain. The energy came down, and what it does, there's that alchemy. It aids in harnessing that power from the Almighty. It aids, because remember, there are things to be done in this realm. People pray, they fast, they burn certain candles, they look at colors, certain aromatherapy. That opens up. Oh, and not even to mention all of the psychedelics, hallucinogenics. I forgot what the term is when you use a certain type of psychedelic to reach spirituality, or even not even psychedelic, cannabis. So it's not wrong to say that being in a certain type of shape, geometrical shape, sacred geometry, and that's just like the mountains, the pyramids, it draws down the power more, and it draws it down easier. Now, also, don't forget this point. The tombs were most probably always hewn into the side of a mountain, or caves were made. Caves are in mountains, so that stone, that mountain, that is sacred geometry that aids in the power and the ultimate power of resurrection, aka transmutation, aka transfiguration. So I do digress at times, but it works. Okay, it works. So let's get back to chapter 15. Okay, so in chapter 15 it says, "Then came to Yahushua scribes and Pharisees." Oh, these are the people who of today, the ones who think they're so holy, and they read the Bible and they keep the Torah, and they are the worst people you could ever be around if you're trying to elevate yourself. I'm talking for myself too, because I have cursed out these types. Like I said, we're working on ourselves. I understand that they are sick. I understand that they are very, very led. Even probably for me, I don't think lead is bad. Meaning, I don't think lead is well, lead is toxic if you take it, but I'm saying I don't think that lead is the worst element. I want to take it a little bit lower. I mean, I can't even think of when I say lower. I don't want to say bad, great, because I don't want to call them bad. But there are some very toxic people. So let's get away from the thought of toxic. We could keep it at lead, I guess, right? Let's keep it at lead, y'all. Let's keep it at lead. Because yeah, let's keep it at lead. So there are some people, the part when I say the Pharisees, these people who call themselves, it seems like the most toxic, lowest base lead people are the ones who walk around thumping the Bible and thumping the Torah. And they are the worst people you could ever know. I mean, I'm not over here like with sunshine, rays of sunshine coming in my ears and eyes and my nostrils. I'm going to keep it a buck. Like, so these people have always been, because they're reincarnated. So to Yahushua, here come these Pharisees, the people of today that call themselves Christians, Hebrew, not all Christians, not all Hebrew Israelites, but many of them are drawn to very, very strict Christian Judeo faiths and also Islamic faiths. So these monotheistic faiths, these Abrahamic faiths seem to, I don't know why these low vibrational people, we'll do another series on that, or another stream. But anyway, the Pharisees come, and they were of Jerusalem, saying, "Why do your disciples transgress the traditions of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread." You see what I mean? They're like have a microscope on everything you do. They were watching Yahushua. Oh, look. They're not washing their hands. And right here in Torah, it says this, and remember the elders did this by tradition. And he looked at them because he wasn't a hippie handing out flowers. he was just like, but he was so perfect that he knew exactly what to say to them, to cut deep with truth. He answered and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandments of God by your traditions? So he cut them. He knew how to fire back. He wasn't just like, oh, brother, come on, love each other. No, he's like, let me ask you guys something. Why don't you keep the commandments? And that for them was like, ooh, what do you mean? We keep Torah. There's a lot of sick people out there who claim to keep Torah and they don't keep anything. They don't keep the natural laws of Yahweh. You know, they can call it, put the label Torah on it. It's just the natural laws of the Almighty and how you interact with others and how you treat others compassionately. So I'm really hyped up about this because, you know, I go through certain things that, you know, these people can be very, very, very damaging, and they can bring you to they can, if you're not fully protected, you can breach your magnetic, that resonance, that encapsulation, that energy encapsulation that I talked about. So anyway, verse 4 says, for God commanded, he went on to elaborate, for God commanded, saying, honor thy father and thy mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me. So see, those people who exist right now, you can see them on social media, and you can see them around in your life. Unfortunately, they exist. We have a lot of work ahead of us, because we got to take care of them. In a sense, we got to take care of ourselves, but we're up for the task. So he's saying, you guys don't even care if people honor their mother and father. You don't care about tradition. All you care about is not only getting monetary gifts, you care about praise. Certain groups out there calling them their Torah teachers, all these people. All you care about is praise from people. That's the gift you want. You don't care if somebody doesn't follow the traditions. And honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. If they praise those so-called Torah teachers, if they do all the things, give money to these Torah teachers, give them, exalt them, they're good. They don't care if people keep commandment. Thus have ye made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition. So he's like, you got a lot of nerve. You don't even keep commandments, okay? And in verse 7, it says, ye hypocrites. Then he's getting more fired up, like thinking of their wicked hypocrisy. Yeah, I use the word wicked, you know, traditionally in a religion, it's called wickedness, but it's just low vibration, toxicity, okay? So he says, ye hypocrites. He's like, you guys are such actors. You're such liars and fakes. He said, you know what? Well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, he said, Isaiah said, he was right about you. And he said, this people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth. I follow Torah. I'm a Torah teacher. Ooh, I follow Yahweh, the commandment this, the commandment that. That's those people. Oh, Jesus, I love Jesus. No, you don't. This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. I'd say that's about, I'm going to be kind, I'd say that's about 90% of the Christians and Hebrew Israelites and everybody else, Muslims out there, 80 to 90. It's that bad. Okay, I'll be nice. We'll say it's 60%, right? 66%. Get it? So, but in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. What I say. So what he's doing right now, remember, he's on a process of taking he's changing, he's going toward his, remember, we're talking about the alchemy of transfiguration, resurrection, and the holiness of the mountain. And also we're talking about him in a process of not only moving toward the ultimate transfiguration himself, but also showing his disciples, Because remember, these guys are focusing on his disciples. And he's like, you guys, don't listen to these people. They are trash. No, I'm just, you know what I mean? But really, he's like, don't listen to these people. You need to stay in your own element and focus on that crystal seat of the mind, that altar that's set up for the Almighty. You need to focus on the compassion, the characteristics of mercy and generosity, the forgiveness. And you also need to focus on, that doesn't mean you go away from the natural law. That doesn't mean you is so-called break Torah. And it doesn't mean that you go into crack a book open and say, well, no, right here, Yahweh said we can go rape the children and the women that are shave their heads. No, it's not what that means. No, that is the doctrine of men. Clearly, however, again, I'm not saying those people were evil at the time that wrote that, but those were men trying to hold on to some order, and they say, okay, what can we do? Yeah, we just raided that camp. You know, we have a shortage of women. Let's take their women. You know what I mean? So I digress once again, but you get where I'm going. There's a road. Remember, I talked about the serpent, the sacred serpent. It's winding. It's not just a straight shot. So when I say I digress, hey, that's what happens inside of you when you have those two selves, that your left side and your right side hitting all of the points, opening up your channels so you can manifest your best self. When I shouldn't say manifest, so you can vibrate or send out, magnetize in the energies that you need. You're winding inside. It's a spiraling together and a winding together. So when I say I digress, it's just like a river. It's a path. We're cleansing. We're going through everything. So I'm touching on everything, and I'm doing a pretty good job. If I would not have privatized this, I would be in the chat looking at my wonderful, beautiful, awesome audience. I love you all that listen and vibrate, but I had to privatize this so I could stay on track. See, I just went into something else, but guess what? I'm going to go right back to what I was talking about. All praises to the Most High. So he's not only rebuking these low vibrational hypocrites who sit and make themselves in the high seat and on the bima and get all the praise and all the donations. He's showing his men and women, yes, and women, showing his disciples, don't be like them. Please don't. Look beyond what is written down. He's not saying discount it. He said, look beyond it and stay in your priorities. You cannot manifest your highest self and work miracles if you're going to be like if you're going to be like these toxic hypocrites. You're not going to do it. You're going to stay looking at the flesh. You're going to stay looking at the carnal. Oh, look at them. They didn't wash their hands. They're not vibrating on a higher level. They're not seeing this spiritual. They're not seeing the electricity that is already coming off of the whole group, especially Yahushai. They're not seeing why they're drawn. They're drawn when they're drawn in their basic selves, meaning in their when I said the spirit of the natural law of the Almighty in themselves, they're drawn, but then they let their carnal mind, their low vibrational mind say, oh, well, I'm drawn to these people because I hate them. Oh, it's called jealousy. And you know what? It's real. That is why you see so many people drawn to certain videos on YouTube just to watch somebody get bashed. That's why you see some of our people like to see bad things happen to so-called celebrities, or even not a celebrity. Your neighbor is getting a nice car, then your neighbor gets the car crashed or repossessed. You like it. You're drawn to that. That's your low vibration. So you're drawn to the beautiful side, like, wow, my neighbor's doing well. in me aligned, loving my neighbor, the natural order, that I don't have to look in the book and say, love my neighbor as myself. I should know this. But if you don't, the book is beautiful and it's sacred and you need it. However, it's in you. So when you're drawn and you see your neighbor doing well, because you are, something's inside of you already that has breached your encapsulation, that protective shield. Something's breached it, some painful situation, some trauma. You don't see it as, wow, I'm so happy for my neighbor. You see it as, who's he think he is? Or who she thinks she is? I can't wait. I hope they crash that car. And everybody's done it once or in their life. I'm pretty sure. No one is not, no one's innocent of, never doing that. But it's those of us who say, okay, I'm not doing that. It's low vibrational. I want to be my high self. So these Pharisees and the Sadducees, they were drawn to the group because that's how they magnetized toward them. But anyway, but Yahushua wanted to show his people, look, let me put these people in check for you. So don't let these traditions of men and doctrines of men keep you vibrating low, because you're going to need to do that alchemy of transmutation, that alchemy of transfiguration, that alchemy of resurrecting yourself from the dead. The Most High, of course, is the power that works that. But you need to have the faith. Just like when he said to Martha, I forget, Luke 10. Yes, Luke 10. It's one of my favorite chapters. He said to Martha about her brother Lazarus, who was in the tomb for a few days, decomposing, okay, a corpse. She said, Lord, if you'd been here, my brother would not have died. Remember, now see, she's putting her faith. She's putting her faith out there in the Messiah. And in this case, okay, in this case, he says to her, he says, do you believe that I can raise him from the dead? No, he says, your brother will live again. That's what he said. He says, your brother will live again. And she says, I know he'll live again in the resurrection. So she believes in the resurrection. And then he drops a coconut in her head. Boop. He says, I am the resurrection. Now people might say, well, see, I thought you said it's about the Almighty and don't focus on him. I said in that instance where he's bringing Peter to the understanding that he will be able to transfigure, that is the instance. In this instance, remember I talked about the people touching his hem? I never have said that the Messiah is not the Messiah, and I never will say that. He's not taking the place of the Most High, but he is definitely standing in the prophecy. He's standing in his particular his place that was given to him by the Almighty. And he says, I am the resurrection. And then he says more like, I might as well get it. But basically he's telling her, I am the resurrection, and you are standing in front of somebody who knows how to do this. So keep in line with me. I'm the one that can show you that I am the Messiah. So let me just get that really quickly. I know I kind of, I'm moving into something else, kind of, not really, because I want to just make sure that I clear it up with the comparison. I don't want to seem like, oh, I'm contradicting myself. No. Okay. And remember, like I said, he's teaching a certain group on how to transfigure, how to change the flesh to light. Not saying that he didn't teach Martha and the women, but not in this particular instance. However, I am going to read it. I'm going to read it. Okay. Mm-hmm. It is Luke 10. Pretty sure it is, isn't it? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not Luke 10. Oh, it's not. My bad. Good thing I looked, right, y'all? Let me try that again. Okay, it is. What is it? It's one of my favorites. I can't believe I'm looking it up right now. Yeah. So really we're talking about the resurrection. That's part of the alchemy. Transfiguration is tied to the resurrection. It is actually showing, look, I can look, I can take on spiritual form. I'm not just flesh. I can go beyond flesh. So it's John. It's John 11. It's John 11. Okay, so let's see here. John 11 says, let's go to 24. Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Yahushua said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Who believe thou this? She saith unto him, Yea, Lord, I believe that thou art the Christ, the Messiah, the Son of God, the Son of the Almighty, which should come into the world. So in this particular context, it does still, it matches up with what I'm saying about him taking his place. And it also, he goes and talks about the resurrection. Remember, I made a point to say people knew who he was. They knew his power and they believed in him as the Messiah. In this, he's saying to Martha, I am the Messiah. What you talking about the resurrection over here? I am the resurrection. So he's looking at her like, I'm here. Y'all can do it now. You can do it on your own. Before I was here, the Messiah, before I came, there were many, if not all, who did not know how to be perfect. I'm going to say, yeah, not mankind, nobody in mankind had the format or the formula or the blueprint on be your perfect balanced self. And that is in the prophecy, the Messiah in the Old Testament, in the Tanakh, and of course, the New Testament. So right here, he's saying to her, excuse me, I can make this corpse a living person for you. I can bring him forward, because Lazarus obviously wasn't under he wasn't a part of his discipleship. He was somewhere else. He was in, what was it, Bethany? He's in Bethany. So he couldn't say, well, I taught Lazarus how to resurrect himself. You understand? But let's talk about John the Revelator. He said, some of you will not see death. And John the Revelator, according to historical fact, or if you want to say it's fairy tale, but we're talking on a level of metaphysical right now, y'all. So those who can't wrap their minds around the metaphysical, don't even try to watch this series until you can. If you can at least listen to it without being, oh, this is crazy. Okay, so what I'm saying is he taught, he was teaching his disciples, you need to know how to walk on water. I know all about what's going on in the material. You need to learn how to walk on water when it's in liquid form. I mean, because we can walk on ice. That's water in a different type of matter, in a different form of matter, not a different type, different form of the matter. So anyway, basically, I just wanted to make sure I show that this aligns with what I'm talking about. Because again, when he found out that John the Baptist's head was chopped off, he knew that the process was, he needed to go into this moving toward taking a certain individuals onto that mountain, revealing the esoteric, revealing information to a certain group, because everybody could not receive it. Not at that moment, not at that time. That's why he says, when I get to chapter 17 in Matthew, he says, don't say anything about this until after, I've, excuse me, been resurrected. And, gone through the crucifixion and been resurrected. So anyway, 1 second. I need some water, you guys. Okay, just a second. I'm pouring my water in my cup. I'm talking a lot. Anyway, so. All right, so, yeah. This is coming along well. So I'm almost done, believe it or not. Much better. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Moving back to Matthew, the book of Matthew, we're gonna get out of Luke and go back to Matthew. So he's telling these guys off, you know, like, y'all are fake. Look, don't be like these guys. We're back in chapter, I think it's 15. Yeah, so he's working a lot of miracles. You know, I'm gonna kind of skip through this. Oh no, wait, there's some meat on this bone I need to address. Okay. Oh yeah, we need to go over this. No, this is chapter 17. Okay, where was I? I was in this one. Okay, yes. So he's telling them, you know, don't be like these guys. This guy's looking, let me show you what losers they are. There's I shouldn't say losers. Let me show you how low vibrational they are. So, yeah. So he's like, things that come out of your, don't worry about what you're going to eat right now. Now, he's not saying, y'all eat some pork, go get yourself some shrimp. He's saying, look, okay, he's like, stop. Okay, I get it. The Torah, yes, okay, we know that you have to eat certain things to stay high vibrational. But let's first talk about how evil you can be, meaning low vibrational. Let's talk about what comes out of you. So he says that. He says, he said, because when you eat something, it just comes right out the back, you know, into the draught, into the toilet, so to speak. But you guys, what comes out of your mouth, you Torah keepers out there, you're not Torah keepers. You hypocrites who slander me. And it's not just me. I'm not playing victim. You do it to everybody. Call people names, lie, just blatantly lie. And so many disgusting, low vibrational people are drawn to you. Drawn. It gets, anyway. Verse 19 says, for out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murderers. That would be people who slander, because the Tanakh says in Sirach, and I think even in Proverbs, it says, slander is worse than death. So you're a murderer when you lie. That's why talebearing is such a serious offense. Quite often ending in stoning, in death. Just like when you look into the Apocrypha, you see Susanna, the book of Susanna. Those two men lied on her, wanted her to be put to death, but guess who got put to death? They did after the trial. So, you know, after it was the council and it was figured out that they were lying out of what? Being jealous, being covetous, coveting that man's wife, angry that she didn't want to sleep with them. Look, y'all, I know I'm going out. I do want to say that is very, very, that's a real thing out there where men will want to see a woman dead if they can't be with her. And women will do it, not just men. If I can't have you, they can't have you. So anyway, getting back to this. So he's like, you know, murders, adulteries, fornication, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man. But to eat with unwashed hands defiles not a man. He's like, he's not saying you can eat pork. He's like, okay, they don't want to wash their hands because, you know, I know it's written down somewhere, but you guys are joking, right? You're the worst people, and you're worried that this person didn't dot his or her I's and cross his or her T's, so to speak. So then when Yahushua went thence and he departed, he's traveling. And you can even look at it on a different level, like he's going in stages. So he's traveling again. See, it's talking about, then he goes to another place. He went to that one place at Gennesaret, and I think that's how you say it. And then now he's going, says now he departed into the coast of Tyre and Sidon. So he's going on to the Canaanites, right? And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast. He's hitting, oh, I love it. he's hitting so many spots. Like first he's like, we're going to feed these people. No, we're giving them some food. Then he goes to the sick. He's like, they can, I'm healing these people. Then he gets to this particular incident where they're like, you guys aren't washing your hands. He's like, put them in check. And then he goes to the so-called heathens or non-Israelites. And then he's showing them, look, I showed you have to have faith. You have to be generous to the hungry. I'm showing you that you got to be able to call in, align with that power from the Almighty to be able to manipulate this material world, walking on liquid water in its liquid form. I'm showing you that these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about when they're trying to condemn us, when they're the most wicked, trying to condemn us for eating without washing our hands. And now you see, all that he's doing is he's clearing out all of that low vibrational lead person, and he's letting them elevate. They're becoming more ethereal. So they're traveling toward, or he is actually going through stages, but he's showing them the formula. These are the things you need to do to be able to manifest yourself in the alchemical way, from flesh, matter, to spirit, something that is not considered material in this realm. And he's showing us how to do it. Because now he goes to the heathens, and he's got, okay, you're now on the list. Got to show these guys to stop trying to trip on the heathens and say that they're, a part, that we can't love them and help them. So verse 22 says, and behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me. Now remember, the heathen has to align with your beliefs and what you know is high vibrational, which is the connection to the Almighty. You can't just be like, yeah, we're all heathens. Oh, what? Yeah, I'm going to do what you do. No, you need to make sure, like this woman came and she's aligned with what he believes. She believes in what he believes. She believes in him. So that's a key point too. When she says, when I say she believes in him, she believes that he's the Messiah. She believes in his miracles. And she believes that he is aligned with the Almighty to be able to do these miracles. So let's get back to that. There's a formula. You can't just be good to, the KKK, and they're over here, most high forbid, thinking that our people need to be enslaved and destroyed. You can't just be like, well, Mr. Chong, not Chong, that's actually Mr. Kwang or Chang, he's over here worshiping the rat god, or actually that's in Indian Hindu. You know what I mean? You can't be, that's not going to make you manifest your highest self. It will not. Never. It won't. Now, does that mean you need to want to destroy those people? No. So anyway, and behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy. You know what? Something just came to my mind. I want to make it clear that I'm not saying people have to, be a Hebrew Israelite or be a Christian or be, a Muslim. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you need to know the power comes from the Almighty. You need to understand that there is, you have the ability to manifest that power. And those who want to really be aligned and perfect, you need to know that there is a man who lived and who was doing these things and showing us. And, we've already won half the battle, because we have some very, very strong naysayers who once said that Yahushua did not exist. They're saying, yes, he was a man who did exist. So you need to be able to understand that you must align with the Almighty. You don't have to worship Jesus. You don't have to go around talking about, you don't even have to go around at this point in yourself, oh, Jesus is the Messiah. When I say you don't have to do that at this point in your life, you may not be able to receive this information. That won't stop you from elevating, from moving up. But what you will ultimately have to do is look at the lives of every prophet that has ever been out there that you know about, that you've come across. You know what I mean? I'm not saying every prophet, but like whoever you've heard of. Okay, I heard of Buddha. Well, let me just look into this guy. Oh, heard of Muhammad. Gotta look into him. Oh, I've heard of Jesus. I gotta look into him. You need to do that. And the reason is because there is one person, only one. There was only one person who walked the earth who had this 100% down and showed us the way. There was only one Messiah. There are many, well, let me rephrase that. There were many men who were christened, like kings who had oil poured on their head. There were many messiahs, but there was only one perfect Messiah who came to show us to be our perfect balanced selves. There was only one man who came in the flesh and lived a humble life. He wasn't sitting on a throne. There was only one who pulled it out the mud. That's my point. There was only one person who, even though he had to pull it out the mud, could do all of these miracles effortlessly, because he knew, I know who I am. I know my purpose. I know I was talked about. I'm the Messiah. I'm the one who came. Now, this might sound preachy to you, but what I'm trying to say is I don't beat people up, because I had to go into that because I said the rat god and I started talking about people's other religions. But what I'm saying is there are levels to your elevation. And if you are following Kemet and you are saying, oh, Jesus is a joke, he never existed, you're not really following Kemet. You're not following Ma'at. Because Ma'at says to honor everyone's altar. That's what Ma'at says, from what I've seen. So it's not about you sitting and becoming a full-on Christian, but when you elevate yourself, you really need to know the truth about things by checking on the truth. And if you never get to that point where you say, like my wonderful, I love my brothers and sisters who are in Kemet and who are Islam, that's not saying, oh, you're evil, you're going to go to hell. You vibrated to your highest self and your highest understanding and whatever exists, how long we're supposed to exist on this earth. But I will tell you this, you will continue to reincarnate until you realize that there is only one Messiah. There aren't many Messiahs. There's only one Messiah that was chosen to show us the way on how to elevate ourselves. Does that mean there aren't many gods? Of course not. We're all gods, and we're elevating ourselves through looking at the life and the teachings of the Messiah and knowing that this person was set as the Messiah from, or ordained as the Messiah from the Almighty power. This person, not for us to pray to, not for us to worship, for us to understand how to be our highest selves in this realm. Because really, we cannot wrap our minds around the Almighty. We can't. We can wrap our minds around gods in the earth, which some people call the netter, or some people call, orishas. We can wrap our minds around like the Hindu gods. We cannot wrap our minds around the Almighty power. Okay? We can't. And what we can do is know that there was a true human being who lived, a true human being, not what we read of, like which I totally respect, people's religions, like the orishas and the gods, excuse me, the gods of Kemet, and even those gods that are spoken of in Hinduism. I respect that. I do. I respect it because I know there were purpose, and I know there's some truth in those energies. I know those energies do exist in the earth in a certain way. But when we talk about a true human being who came in the flesh, with perfection, and lived a very stressed out, humbled life, often a fugitive at times, when we talk about this person who was set and spoken of in the Tanakh to come and to show us how to overcome death and how to love and how to work miracles and how to heal, there's only one who has done all of it. There are many who have done some of those things, but not all. But there's only one who's done all of it. Okay, so this isn't like I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything, but I was going into about aligning with the belief to be able to receive if you were outside of, let's say me, for instance. If I go to a person as a doula, a woman who is a Hindu, I don't worship the gods of the Hindus. Do I respect the people that believe in that? I respect them to an extent as that I know there's some truth about gods and the earth, but I don't. I'm on a higher plane. I believe in a higher, not believe, scratch that. I work power from a higher source. Like they're doing, lower AC, what's it? They're on DC and I'm on AC. You get what I'm saying? Like, so alternate current. I'm on alternate current. They're on another lower vibration. That doesn't mean they're evil. They don't draw from what I draw from. They don't know the truth about how the energy has worked and who the man is that came to show us the way so we can work the formula. But they're wonderful. This could be a beautiful woman that I'm working as a doula for. Now, as a doula, am I going to tell her, well, you don't believe in Jesus, so I'm really sorry. You're not, look, why don't you just believe in Jesus? And I'm sure this will go much better for you. Like when I do the transitioning doula, talking about, people losing their loved ones. I don't sit there and say, well, they're in the bosom of Jesus now. I don't do that. That's not their vibration. That's not their understanding. However, what I do is I make sure that they will be able to interact with me, and I let them know I'm going to talk about energies with you. Would you like for me to be a doula? I'm going to talk about the power of the Almighty. I'm going to speak about the things I'm talking about right now in this alchemy series. See, the scriptures say in the New Testament, which I'm not saying people even blaspheme the Messiah. When it says you can speak badly, I'm just going to paraphrase. It's like you can blaspheme the Messiah and you'll be forgiven. Because when you one day you'll get to your full understanding. It's going to happen. You're going to reincarnate. You can be the most beautiful person, and I love you if you are. I love how I'm going to speak about Baba Heru. I love him. I have so much respect for what he does and how he is, and all of the elders, Queen Afua. Those are beautiful, high vibrational people. Very loving. They work the same way that Yahweh teaches us to work. Baba Heru said this, though. He said, I love, he said, I love my Hebrew brothers and sisters. I don't try to turn them away. He's vibrating high. He's in that, what some people say in New Age, I don't subscribe to this phrase, but Christ consciousness. He's in that vibration. He's high vibrating. So that's another thing. Like maybe he's not saying what I'm saying, like, oh, I believe in Yahweh, but he's still doing it in his way. So he could be on a level of, not saying he believes in this, because I know like Brother Jabari, another high vibrational brother. I'm not saying that they don't align with me in this direction, like I interact with them. I'm saying that if in this particular instance, if someone comes in and they're like, I need your help with this, can you heal me? What they're doing is they're like in this scripture, she's bowing down to him. Yeah, that's what I want to put out there too. If you're going to submit to someone, You're submitting to their beliefs because you believe in their beliefs and you think that's what's going to help you. So I said a lot, but hey, enjoy it. Fast forward it. Let's get back to what happened with the woman, because really ultimately it's about, in this particular scripture, showing that they need to align with your beliefs. Okay, if you want to have the ultimate, if you want to do the ultimate and work the power that Yahweh works, no other person. If you want to raise people from the dead, basically, if you want to, and I'm not talking about the Walking Dead. I'm not talking about half their face falling off. You want to resurrect people. If you want to resurrect yourself, then you need to align with only this one man, which is Yahweh. So let's get back to that. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. So she's saying, son of David. She's like, I know who you are. I know exactly who you are. And she's letting him know that she knows. And then he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she crieth after us. See? So they're vibing, thinking he's like stuck up, or like, we only came for the Hebrews, they're thinking he's on that level, because that's what they've been taught. That's why he needs them to go through this, because they will not ever vibrate to the highest transmutation of self, the highest transfiguration of self. They will not be able to resurrect from the dead. They will not be able to do that unless they learn. We love everybody, but they're going to have to submit to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai's will. Meaning, now you're like, I knew she's trying to make us Hebrew Israelites. No, what I'm saying is, according to this scripture and according to my belief, you need to, if you're going to go to someone, which they went to the best, and you're going to ask for the help, you're going to have to submit to that person. Otherwise, it won't work. You understand? So if I go to somebody who follows Islam and I'm like, please, can you heal me? I'm not going to sit there and, Muhammad, yeah, okay, sure. It's not going to work. I have to align fully with what they believe to be able to get the power. Get it? So this whole religion can really get people closed-minded. So I don't want you to think about religion when I'm talking about this. I want you to stay on the idea of alchemy, the metaphysical, and the balance of self. Because don't forget, alchemy is a science. And you can't just do anything in any old science. You can't just be like, I'll just pour 2 parts. I know it says 1, but you have to stay in a formula. And the formula, from my understanding, what I know, and my experience, is that there's only one person who knew how to do these things, and who knew how to teach, who taught us these things, and that's Yahweh. Now, you can't, if you're going to do this, if you're going to say, yeah, I want to raise people from the dead, I want to be compassionate and love people, I want to feed the hungry when I only have 1 or 2 loaves of bread. If you say you want to do that, and you say you want to be all of that, walk on water when it's liquid, you have to be able to, so you're reading the life of him and you want to do it. So if you read the life of him and you say, hey, sounds like a fairy tale, you're not going to get it, because you already think it's a fairy tale. But if you're like, hey, maybe I can do this, you're going to have to obviously believe in him, meaning you're going to have to believe that he lived and did these things, and you're going to have to believe what he says he is. You get what I'm saying? Like, I really, really am staying on this because I need to clear up. I need to clear up all of the religious blockages that people have. This isn't religion. If you don't want to be a follower of Yahweh, you don't have to. You can just be your best self. You can manifest the most beautiful energies. You can magnetize. You can help people in their you can still do the alchemy of love. You can understand the sacred serpent. But if you want the full package, if you want to be raising healing the sick, raising people from the dead, overcoming poisonous snake bites. And I know they're doing that in the Hindu thing. And remember, I said it's the full package. Some of the stuff can be done in all these different religions, but in the belief in one, which is Yahushua, you get the full power. You must be able to align with a Messiah who is the only Messiah that has been chosen to show us the perfection so we can too perfect ourselves. That's the point about saying when he says, I'm the resurrection. Because when he says it, he's like, you see, I'm here and I'm a human being. Okay, I'm doing this. And then he's like, and you know what? Y'all can't do it. He's like, but you guys are going to do better than me. He literally says that in some of the gospel. He says, why are you so marveling at this? You're going to do way more than what I've done. So, and that's why he was an amazing man and perfection, because he always loved and exalted his people, the ones who loved him, and the ones who even the ones who weren't Hebrew Israelites, like this woman. Basically, he says to her, he sends her through a test. He knew that she was a woman of faith, but he needed to show his disciples. He needed to show them. Okay, he already knew that she was, who she was, but he needed to show them, and he needed to show them to have compassion, because they're like, Lord, let's send them away. And he's like, no, don't send them. He's like, he said to her, he didn't say no to them, but he's like, I'm not sent here but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he's saying that to her. And a lot of people take that and they use it. I've used it in Hebrew Israelite back and forths with other people. I've used it in the past when I was being brainwashed. Now, does that mean that we are not the top people? Our people aren't chosen and we're in a hierarchy? No, it doesn't. We're at the top. However, every human being, every creation is going to make it and be their highest selves. Okay, so I digress. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And then she didn't give up though, but he wanted them to see it so they would be able to see the formula of being able to have the alchemy of transforming your flesh, looking past flesh, looking past, they're Canaanites and we're Israelites, in order, not kumbayaing with people who aren't aligning, in order. So then came she and worshiped him, saying, Lord, help me. She didn't give up. She's like, I don't care what y'all say. I'm going to stick with the Messiah. I know where the healing is. So he saw that, but more than him, they saw it. And really going toward his resurrection, going toward the working up to the Transfiguration, he is also, what he's doing is fulfilling prophecy as he goes to teach them the formula and how to reach that power to be able to be in an alchemical way, transmutate, transfigure, resurrect in a sense, meaning pull the completely manifest spirit, that electricity. In doing that, not only is he showing them the process and the formula and what they must do, he's also fulfilling the prophecies. It's twofold. And it's beautiful. So then she's like, Lord, help me. And then he answered and said, it isn't meat. It's not, he says, it's not right. So it's not meat to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs. So then he pushed her to like somebody be like, excuse me, did you just call me a dog? That pride would have kicked in for anyone else. So he wanted to show the disciples, yeah, this is what we do to these heathens, right? Yeah, I'm a colored dog, which, he's just saying it like it is. He's saying, look, we're the top people here. I don't want you to get it twisted. We are the top people. And I'm talking about my people right now. Okay. I am a nationalist, 100%. So keep it that way. I'm about my people. So that doesn't mean that I think I should be cruel or harm other people. I think we should live in harmony and they should serve us. We're out of order right now. We're serving the wrong people are in control. That's why it says when our people are in control, everyone's happy. I'm paraphrasing from a scripture. So back to when he's saying like casted the dogs, and they're like, yeah, right, that's right, Jesus, go on. They're like, that's what they've known. That's what these religious people know right now. And then she didn't let pride kick in. She's like, okay, true. I'm a dog. She said, truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Ooh, fire. Feeling that energy over me. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. She's like, yeah, you guys are the ones. You're top. But guess what? I'm gonna eat too. So she shows her complete submission and her belief, and she's in order. And she doesn't get kicked in the teeth or, yeah, that's right, we're gonna do you like you do you. No, excuse me, my shoulder's starting. We're gonna do you like, you know how you hear that, the Hebrews. I love y'all, but some of you are out of control. We're gonna put them in slavery, and yes, he that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. That's talking about something that you got to look at the context. That's talking about some very wicked people who were not submitting and aligning. Okay. So then when she said that, Yahushua answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. See, he's talking about faith. He's talking about that mind, the crystal seat of the mind, the altar that she has set up. Not first and foremost, even her as whatever she is. She doesn't put anyone in that altar higher than the Almighty. But she needs to understand, wait a minute, even though I have that power, there are those who exist on the earth with me who are set above me in power. So I can't start tripping and saying, we all have this power. No, we don't exactly. We do and we don't. Every human being has all the energy that I spoke of. Every human being can call on, there's only one Almighty that they draw power from. But when we talk about government and order, because remember, we're still existing in this realm together. It's not an anarchy. It won't work that way. There has to be leadership. So anyway, he says to her, O woman, great is thy faith, be it unto thee, even as thou wilt. He's saying you can have what you want. Right there, he's like, you believed, you aligned. Now, the desire, the mind, what you want in your mind, isn't something you're struggling with. Okay, y'all, so I'm going to get back onto the metaphysical more, which I didn't go away from it. But I know a lot of our people are church hurt and leaving religion. Yes, please, I get it. Nobody's trying to drag you into Christianity. No, I'm not in Christianity. But I'm trying to show you the power of the top alchemist, who is the Messiah, who showed us how to do this, how to be our most powerful selves and be able to control this realm, be able to control our existence, be able to manipulate the matter and the metaphysical, be able to do all these things. Okay, so he shows them, and she's got what she wanted because she went into, I don't care. I'm staying with this. He's the one. Okay. So then he departs again. He departs again. See, he's traveling toward that particular mountain where he's going to do the transfiguration, aka transmutation, aka alchemy from flesh to spirit, which is how the resurrection works. Okay, so he departed from thence and came nigh unto the Sea of Galilee, and went up into a mountain and sat down there. And great multitudes came unto him, having with them those that were lame, blind, dumb, maimed, and many others, and cast them down at Yahweh's feet, and he healed them. See how the procession is going? How he continues to give himself, how he continues to use his power that he received. He's completely aligned. He's magnetizing. Not only the miracle, y'all, it's not just the miracle. Because how many of these people, like I remember some have certain things, but they don't have it all. How many of these people can heal, but they charge money, or they want you to praise them, or they want you to just come to them? That's not the vibration that he was sending out. He's a full package. He's like, and this is what we will be, the full package. It's not just like he's the only one. That's why he said, don't tell anybody till after I'm crucified and resurrected. Because now we're all supposed to do what he's shown us. This is the thing. This is the thing that I'm trying to say. It's not about worshiping. It's not about, oh, I can't. He showed us the formula. And he's like doing all these beautiful things because he's vibrating high. It's changing those lead people, because even in the flesh they're lead. You know, we're talking about a breached, and when you're you win that encapsulation, that what people might say aura, when your force field is breached, it makes you physically ill. So it all goes back to that, helping someone repair themselves on a metaphysical level and on a physical level, holistic. You understand? So it's about being holistic, spirit and flesh. So he healed them, and that's what he went into. He's like, it's about love. It's about the process of alchemy of love. It's like, okay, well, they came to him. He didn't be like, y'all, I'm tired. He was just like, let's do it. I'm healing. And verse 31 says, in so much that the multitude wondered when they saw the dumb to speak, the maimed to be whole, the lame to walk, the blind to see, they glorified the God of Israel, who is the almighty power in that particular vein. Not saying, oh, it's the same power. It's the same power of all. That's what it's saying. You see what happened? When he healed them and helped them vibrate to their highest selves, repaired whatever breaches, whatever openings that were in their protective magnetic force field. When he did that, all those channels opened, all those, I say sacred serpents or whatever, the dual self, that you can get the vision of the caduceus, because you got that pillar of energy, the power coming down from the Almighty. Okay. And then you've got your own existence of self, which you have one soul, but it's, if you can see, both sides are your soul working. It's like a winding or a spiraling around the power, clearing out every channel, which some people may say chakras, all the points of light in yourself are being opened, all those channels. So then those people, they're healed, and now they glorified, set up the altar, this in the seat, the crystal seat of the mind, this special seat in your mind that you receive that energy. Now they glorify. So now they vibrated to higher people. They're gold people now. Then Yahushua called his disciples unto him, and he said, remember, he's also doing this for them. He's fulfilling prophecy, showing the love, working the process of alchemy and love, and he's doing the work, but he's also teaching them because he wants these specific disciples to be on a level. So he's like, calls them on and said, I have compassion on the multitude because they continue with me now 3 days and have nothing to eat. And I will not send them away fasting lest they faint in the way. See, again with the food. I think I already, did I do this one? Wait a minute, y'all. This is I hope this is chapter 16. I'm still in 15. Well, if you're not watching anymore, it's okay. Come back to the video later. Bear with me because I'm getting to a point. I'm almost done. Kind of, sort of. All right, so let's see. Okay, he's saying they're hungry, so he wants to feed them. That's why I love Yahushai. Like, oh, I want to just be like this. I want to be able to just love people who are broken and not break down and be like, you know what, Effie then. You know? So anyway, and his disciples said unto him, whence should we have so much bread in the wilderness as to fill so great a multitude? They're like, why? But he's trying to show them they still, oh my goodness. They're still not fully, they're not on that. They're trying. They're getting there, but he's like, you know, I did the fish, I did the bread, but here they are like, where are we gonna get this bread, Lord? So verse 34, Yahushua says unto them, oh, I think I did do this, didn't I? It's interesting. Anyway, yeah, this looks the same. See, that's why people be like, see? But that's why the things about the inconsistencies or the like, I think that this was the one about the fish. Yeah, it is. Okay, so we know it happens. Okay. See? Sometimes things get mixed in. And then at the end of this, it says, and he sent away the multitude and took ships and came into the coast of Magdala, where Mary's from there, right? Is that the same place? Mary of Magdala? Magdalene? Mary Magdalene? Maybe? No? Yes? Okay, so moving right along, we're almost there. Stick with me. What I want you to take from all of this that I'm saying, take what you can, whatever resonates with you. Think about whatever you know, grab what you can, work on it, meditate on it if it resonates with you. I mean, you don't have to agree with everything I'm saying, obviously. So what we're looking at is from him knowing that John, his cousin, was beheaded, and him understanding prophecy, him understanding that was Elijah, him understanding that John was killed, him understanding that John was the one who marked a lot of his prophecy, like he gauged it, like, which he knew anyway, but he was like, okay, John's been beheaded. I knew that was going to happen. Now I'm on my journey, and now it's like a metamorphosis in a long way. That's another alchemy. A caterpillar turns into a butterfly. That's alchemy. So, and people's like, well, not really, Napah, because see, there's a chrysalis in the cat. I get that, but I'm saying on the surface. On the surface, it's like that's a caterpillar. Now there's a butterfly. Those are two different. Caterpillars don't fly. They don't have beautiful, colorful wings. Get it? So he's doing like a type of metamorphosis on his journey, which is fulfilling his prophecy on his journey to that mountain where we're going to talk about in Matthew 17 for the Transfiguration. And he's also preening, or I guess like work, teaching, conditioning, preparing his disciples, specific ones especially, for what's to come soon. Okay, remember that. So in Matthew 16, because remember, this is also, I didn't think I mentioned this, we're talking about him understanding death. I did not bring that up. Oh wow, it's 2 hours almost. We're talking about the alchemy also of death turned into life. We're talking about the alchemy of death in the flesh brought back to life through the Spirit. So that was the theme, because John was beheaded, and Yahushua started knowing, that's when he focused on his impending fate. And well, not that he wasn't already focused, but you get what I'm saying. And he's working toward, from chapter 14 to chapter 17, we're looking at a metamorphosis, a working up to a fulfilling of prophecy, of course, but the formula, the esoteric knowledge is that there's a formula to working these miracles. There's a formula to the alchemy. There's a formula, obviously. So we're going to talk about verse 16. We're almost there. So let's see. Give me 1 second, please. Just 1 second, y'all. Okay. Okay, I told you I just needed 1 second. Alrighty. Where was I? Let's turn the camera back on and get back to this. Let's get back to this. Hello, strawberry. To inside, if you know about the one thing Britney Spears said during the Diane Sawyer interview, with her altars, with her fractals of her mind. Anyway, so back to this though. That was an intermission. Okay, so chapter 16. So let's see. Remember, he's moving toward this particular mountain he's going to. Chapter 16 says, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees. Did I read this already, y'all? Anyway, maybe not. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. So here it is again. We have also in the metamorphosis, in the procession, in the time that he's, oh my God, don't say it, Lord. I know it's going to be crappy, because I was on my Wi-Fi, which I hate, because in my area, it's horrible. So I went 2 hours on that horrible Wi-Fi. I know it's going to look bad. I'm sorry. But, you guys just listen to it. You don't have to look at it. But I just noticed that my Wi-Fi was on, and I turned it off. So now it's going to be probably a better picture. That is annoying. No, because I can't even, the area that I'm in, they won't, the best Wi-Fi is not available. I should do the Ethernet though, but anyway, where was I? Okay, yes. Chapter 16. Let's get serious. I'm going to get serious. Okay. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. So see, they're back on their whole, hey, Jesus, well, come over here, Yahushua. We want to, they're just low vibrational, carnal. But this is what he knows, and he's working this because it's all to show his disciples in the formula how to work these guys, work around these guys, and get past their carnal ways. Don't get tripped up by the carnal. Don't let these people who teach you the Bible and say, well, you know, God said that, you know, the woman is supposed to wear a beekeeper outfit. And, you know, you're like, sisters walking around with hot, like the whole niqab on in like 109 degrees. And, or, you know, women saying, I have to have a head wrap on, or Yahweh will destroy me if I pray. Or, now I'm not saying you should disrespect someone's traditions. You understand? Put on a head wrap if you're around people. But when you start believing these low vibrational things, you block your energies and you vibrate lower, and you won't be your highest self. So he answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. So he's getting ready to tear them up right now. I love it. Because they're trying to trick him, and, you know, he knows it. And he says, and in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. And he looks at him and says, oh, you hypocrites. Because he's like, so let me get this straight. You guys can look at the regular sky and, you know, give a forecast on the weather, but you can't tell the sign of the times when the prophecies are being fulfilled. Okay, that goes for you Bible haters out there, and not just Bible haters, goes for you atheists out there who think you're so intelligent and love science of man, because it's just a man. There are so many different sciences. So you go through the science of men instead of going through your own science that you receive from the almighty power. So that goes for you too. So he says, in the morning, it will be foul weather. And he's like, you guys, he said, oh, ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but you can't discern the signs of the times. And he says, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. Now, does that mean that you should not be watching out and discerning signs? No. But he's saying, don't come to me and ask me to prove everything. That's what he's saying. All of you people who are hypocrites, like, prove it, prove it. No, he's like, you look for a sign, and there's shown no sign be given. Guess what? I can't prove it for you. He said, but the sign of the prophet Jonas, and he left them and departed. Okay, so he's like, I got your sign, right? I'll show you your sign. You just, you know, so he just walked away from them because they're annoying. And that's the Bible thumpers and atheists today. Anyway, I don't want to get low vibrational though, but y'all know what I'm talking about, right? And when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. Then Yahushua said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. Now, he's talking about symbolic, metaphorical, spiritual talk. They're over here think he's talking about real bread. Verse 7 says, and they reasoned among themselves, saying, it is because we have taken no bread that he's saying that. Again, they are not vibrating right there on their highest level. They're not looking at the metaphorical. They're not looking at what he's really saying. They're not in the esoteric. They're on the surface exoterically saying, oh, Jesus said we didn't bring any bread. And he's like, you know, and then when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, oh, ye of little faith. See, he's back with that same mantra. He's like, you have to, I'm paraphrasing. It's like, you got to get out of that low vibrational carnal thing. Like, he's talking about real bread. You got to be able to open that mind and get deeper. You need to be able to receive a deeper understanding. That's what the depth of your consciousness is for. The depth. So that he's like, that's what the depth of your consciousness is for. Say, oh, ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves because ye have brought no bread. Oh my gosh, I did it like that because I could just feel, oh, he's like, okay, let me get this straight. Why are y'all thinking that I'm talking about real bread? You know what I mean? But I'm sure he wasn't impatient like that. He's like, why do you reason among, I mean, maybe he was. No, he wasn't like a robot. He was real. He was a real man. It's like, why do you reason among yourselves? Because you have brought no bread. So do you not understand? Oh, I'm going to say this verbatim. Verse 9. Do ye not yet understand? Neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000 and how many baskets he took up? So he's going back. See, he's molding them. He's preparing them while he fulfills prophecy, while he moves toward the mountain, where he's going to transfigure, vibrate, to show them the elect 3. He says, do you guys not get it? Like, I just worked a miracle over there, and I didn't do it to be seen like a big hot shot. I'm trying to show you the depth, the profundity of your soul consciousness self, and the power that you have when you open up your mind, receive the energy, the power from the Almighty, that you work the miracles. All the miracles can be seen on an alchemical level. Sure, you can say, well, no, that's not alchemy because he still took bread and increased bread. No, but he took only 5 loaves of bread and made something out of nothing that was there. You get? So that's kind of a stretch, but the point is, when you do alchemy, at the core of alchemy, it's not about just making something into something totally different. It's about working the miracle of something that, so dubious. You're like, I doubt that this could happen. And then boom, there's no way that you can make 5,000 loaves of bread out of 5 loaves. Boom. So that's what we want to focus on as far as the alchemy, the change, the miraculous change. Okay. I'm talking about in that vein. I mean, in that instance, in that example. So he said, neither the 7. Oh, so yeah, I'm sorry. There are 2 different times documented in this scripture. So I was wrong. It wasn't a mistake. He says, neither the 7 loaves of 4,000 of the 4,000 and how many baskets he took up. So I was wrong. It wasn't a mistake. There was once he did it for 5, which makes sense because he's traveling. It's like, yeah, let me do that again. So once he did it five loaves into 5,000 for 5,000, then he did 7 loaves for 4,000. I humbly apologize, and I was wrong. So he's like, don't you remember what I'm doing here? Do you guys not? You guys don't get it? How is it that ye do not understand that this is verse 11. He's like, how is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning the actual bread? The word actual isn't in there, but he's like, you guys, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisee and the Sadducees. He's like, I'm taking y'all on another level right now. Come on, this isn't a joke. I'm trying to bring you to your highest self so you can transform your flesh into electricity. So you can transform the bread into several loaves of more bread. He's like, I'm trying to show you something. Verse 13 says, when Yahushua came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, he's in another place. So he's moving in toward what's going to happen. You can look at it, these instances as, him moving toward his actual resurrection, which is past the crucifixion. But you also can look at it as he's moving towards showing them. I'm going to show you guys what's going to happen here. Because remember, this is about overcoming the death too. So he's in Caesarea Philippi, and turn that off. And he asked his disciples, saying, So now he's, he's in that mode. He's like, okay, I am getting close to that time when I'm about to be crucified. He's bringing it out to them. He's going to start talking to them about it. He's like, who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? It's like, who do they say? What's going on? Like, what do they think about me? Now he's picking their brain because obviously he knows what people think. 14 says, and they said, some say thou art John the Baptist. John the Baptist had his head chopped off. Remember, that's what we started on with this whole journey. Some say Elias. So he's like, and some say you're Elijah. But John the Baptist is Elijah, and you'll see what, just stick with me. And others say Jeremiah. Some people think he's a reincarnation of Jeremiah. This proves to you that reincarnation was not a big deal. Like, if reincarnation wasn't in the Bible, he'd be like, what are you guys talking about? What? They did, or something. So it was commonly known that reincarnation was real. So some say Jeremiah or one of the prophets. Some people say that. So he's like, okay. Then he looks at them and he says, he saith unto them, but whom say ye that I am? Like, so what do you guys say? And they say, and Simon Peter answered and said, thou art the Christ. It's like, you're the Messiah, Son of the living power, Son of the living God. So like me, I'm in his mindset. I see it says some say you're this, some say you're that. And look, it doesn't say, damn them, those evil people. It just, and then Yahushua didn't say this. So what do you think? And then those who he's going to, the ones he's going to reveal the power to soon in the next chapter, the power of the transformation, transfiguration, transmutation, those are all synonyms. Those that he's going to show how to be in the alchemy of showing how to turn flesh to spirit, to pure electrical spirit, manifesting electricity, I mean. Peter says, I know who you are. You're the Messiah, hands down. Okay? There's nothing, no, I'm not confused. Verse 17, and Yahushua answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Barjona, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but it was my Father which is in heaven. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm trying to hold back some emotion right now. The reason it's beautiful is, like I've been saying, he's wanting us to receive that power from the Almighty. There's only one Almighty power. There's only one source, one main powerful source, unlimited. There's a lot of sources that we can draw from each other. So I have to be very careful because people, sometimes I can say things that may be misunderstood or taken out of context or twisted. So I mean, there's only one power. And he says, when Peter says, you know what, you're the one. It's like, I knew it. He's like, Peter, you're on your way. You got it, brother. And this is why he said, and you didn't, he said, nobody told you that. You didn't learn it in a book. You didn't hear someone tell you. You didn't pick up the Bible and, oh, well, Genesis, Exodus says, Leviticus. No, you didn't receive it from flesh and blood. I got to read that again. This is for the people who say, well, how do you know the Bible? Guess what? It's not about the Bible. It's not. It's about that source. Hear me out, people. It's about opening up your crown, setting up the altar, which is exalting the Almighty power as the one and only who you receive the power from. Setting up the altar, setting up the crystal seat of the mind at the altar, the chalice, bringing that energy down, it's revealed. So let's read again what Yahushua said. Yahushua answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Barjona, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. He said, you didn't, basically, you did not read that in a book. Check. You didn't get that from A church? You didn't get that from a church. Your pastor didn't teach you that. Your camp leader didn't show you that. Your brother didn't show you that, or your sister. It was my Father in heaven who gave you this. Not even Yahushua. He'd say, I told you that, Peter. I showed you. See how he exalts the Father? He'd say, yeah, because you saw me making those 5 loaves of bread out of 5. He didn't do that. He's like, you got this from the Most High. You're the one. Verse 18 says, and I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. The gates of hell, what he's meaning, he's saying the grave. Y'all, I'm telling you, the word hell in this context does not mean fire and brimstone, a guy with a pitchfork down underneath the ground. Go on, shovel some more coal. It's not, no. Not a red guy with horns and a long pointy tail. He's saying, which we're talking about the alchemy, right? He's saying that thou art Peter, and upon this rock, now remember we talked about keep in mind the mountain. Mountain is stone, mountain is rock. It's not a bunch of dirt piled up like you dig. It's rock, okay? Pretty much the mantle, the rock it says, upon this rock I will build my church. His following, got it? The understanding of who is the ultimate alchemist, who is the one who showed. Oh, I just thought about it. The prophet of the prophet stone. Ding, all praise to Yahweh. Who is the prophet stone? The stone which the builders rejected. There's the esoteric. The cornerstone is Yahushua, but he's handing it. That's the beauty. That's why I said it's not about, oh, you praise. No, he never wanted praise. He never wanted to be worshipped. I'm not going to say praise. We all like to be praised. He didn't want worship. He said, I'm handing this to you, Peter. It came as the alchemist. I am the prophet stone. I am the prophet stone. I'm the stone. Scripture says in the Tanakh, I think it's in Psalms, the stone which the builders rejected. And that's not just the rejection. I'm going to go into, what is it, the R.I.S.E, I think? Yeah. When we talk about Oshun, I say Ohun, but it's Oshun. Okay, Oshun. There's a story about one of the Orishas, the goddess Oshun. She was beautiful. She was the most beautiful and just fun. And oh my gosh, she looks so pretty. She was always like really about just the aesthetic, just girly-ish. And something happened where everybody's like, okay, we gotta get up there to to the heavens, appeal to the Almighty. I forgot okay, let me slow down. Basically, she becomes this really hideous bird, and everybody laughs at her, and they're like, oh my God, you can't get up there. So when she does get up to the heavens to appeal to the power over all the powers, over all the Orishas, he's like, okay, what do you want? Like, I'll give you anything. And she's like, I want to, solve the problem on earth. I want to help everybody. And he's like, so after they rejected you and told you get lost, you still want to love them and help them. It's the same vibration. However, even in voodoo, we know, as much as I know that the Orishas are energies in the earth, I know that those weren't actual human beings on the earth. That's why I go back to Yahushua. See, that's why I said you got to look into all of it. Be careful. Don't slip all into a crevice and then just not be able to get out. Meaning, don't start doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Nobody's saying start doing all kinds of crazy rituals to lesser gods, because you're going to vibrate low. But you have to, if you want that full power, you gotta choose the prophet stone. And I got excited because that's alchemy. They want to know the prophet stone to be able to, oh, by the way, alchemy isn't just about turning something from lead to gold. It's about the everlasting life. It's about healing. It's Yahweh. He is the alchemist. The alchemist. And that's a really good book. So go get it by Paulo Coelho. So very good book, very good story. So yeah, he says, upon this rock I will build my church, meaning those who follow him, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. He's like, nobody's gonna die. Not on my watch. 1 second. 1 second. Hello. This isn't. Oh Lord, why? Okay. So yeah. Yeah, so he says to Peter, you got it. You got it. And then he goes on to say, I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. So he said, I'm showing you all the secrets. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. You see, we're talking about that macrocosm, microcosm. We're talking about him saying, when you know all of this that I'm about to teach you, nothing will be able to stop you. You'll be able to transcend energy. Your electricity will be able to transcend this material earthly self and be done in heaven. That's the power he's saying. I'm about to give you this. Whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. They're working up to the mountain situation. Then charged he his disciples, and they that should tell no man that he was Yahweh HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. So he's like, y'all don't worry about going and telling anybody this. Let's keep this tight. So from that time forth began Yahweh to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto. Now he's talking about the death, the crucifixion, the suffering. So he's working up. See, it's getting closer. He's showing. I'm the prophet stone. I am the alchemist. From that time forth began Yahushua to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes. So these are all the major guys. These are those church people, so to speak. These are the people who are, juiced in. Like, I've got, I'm the Most High comes to me. Come on, I'm the one. These are all the guys he names. It's like, yeah, those are the guys. They're like, they're gonna do it. Yeah, you thought it was gonna be like some murderers or some street gangbangers? No, it's gonna be the top church people. Just like today. Just like these people who say they follow Torah on this internet, constantly crucifying and lying on people, being nasty people, low vibrational, same thing. So he said, from that time forth, Jesus began to show unto his disciples how that he must go into Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed and be raised again the third day. And I want you to remember, it says scribes. Those are people who wrote things down. So a lot of stuff you have to just be able to see if it's from the Most High when you read a holy writing. Because a lot of people are wicked that wrote stuff. Not saying the Bible's wicked. Stop. I'm just saying you have to be careful. Then Peter took him. Oh, this is where Peter, so he praised Peter, said, you got this. But then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, "Be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee." See, Peter didn't get it. Yahushua is like, this is a process. How can I do the alchemy, turning from dead to alive, if I don't die first? How can I show my mercy if I don't sit back and just, let them crucify me in the worst way, and then come back and not even bust their heads to the white meat? Like, no. He's like, "No, Lord, this isn't gonna happen." And I'm all gully, and then Yahushua turned, but he turned and said unto Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan." Because he was like, "Bro, I just said you're the one. Now you're over here acting like a complete peanut butter and jelly knucklehead right now. Like, I just told you that I'm gonna give you power. You got to see how this works. I'm not. I people are like, well, if he was God, then he wasn't God. If he was powerful, why did he die? It's prophecy. It is the way the caterpillar dies, doesn't it? Well, I'm not comparing Yahushua to the caterpillar. I'm trying to show those who can't wrap their minds around it. Does not the caterpillar die and become something else? So he's like, I have to. This has to happen. So he turned and said unto Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me," bro. He didn't say bro, but you know what I mean? He's like, "You're an offense unto me. For thou savorest not the things that be of Yahweh, but those that be of men." So he's like, see, you're worried about me. You're back on your low vibrational right now, bro. You're like worried about the flesh, talking about, no, we're gonna fight, and I'm talking about dying and coming back alive, brother. Like, come on. I'm talking about being the most powerful. Not only am I raising people from the dead, they're going to beat me and they're going to do me dirty. I'm going to come back and be alive. So don't try to block this, Peter. You're trying to block this because your mind is on a low vibe. So that's what he said. Then he says, verse 24, then said Yahushua unto the disciples, "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." It's like, y'all get what I'm saying? Like, we got to do this. Take up the cross is very, very symbolic, and it's also esoteric. He's not just saying like the carrying the cross. He's saying you got to die. You got to go into that deepest, lowest self, your most base, darkest self, if you want to follow me, because you got to do what I'm doing. You got to forget about your flesh. You got to just let yourself get back to when you were just, remember that in the womb, just a little before even a zygote, you were just a sperm and an ovum, two cells coming together. You got to get down deep. Take up your, and it also is about suffering. It's also about suffering. People don't like to hear that. Like, why did babies die? Why God didn't look? You gotta go through the pain to be able to say, I'm done. I've risen. I'm good. You have to. That is also, again, alchemy. You go from you think, when you're feeling pain, let me say, as a doula, and I'm talking about birth doula, and other people who know about pain is exhausting and it burns calories. Like, you're going through changes. It can make you hallucinate. It can make you pass out. It can make you want to check out. So you got to get to that goes into your primordial self. You strip away all pleasantries, all pleasant feeling, and you're at that skating, the grinding of physical sensation that excruciating state, and you don't know. You know, sometimes sweating. I don't know if I'm gonna come out of this. I'm dying. I'm sure I'm dying. You know, that's some people how they handle pain. So he's like, you got to get deep, 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 deep to the darkest bowels of existence, because we're about to come out of this like the phoenix, like the spirit rise. We're going to come out of this like the flame. Okay, that's symbolic also. That has to do with, a lot with the transmutation, transfiguration, because remember, face like the sun, when it's, we'll get to it, but he's literally shining. And also, I want to talk about, let's not forget about the burning bush. Where the burning bush, it was like, oh, take this off. The burning bush, it was a, also that energy, that electricity, that fire. Okay. So I'm saying when Yahweh manifest self. Now, in that particular scripture, Moses does ask him, well, who are you? And who do I say sent me? And he's like, bro, I keep saying bro, but because, you know, it's not like it was just like, oh, it was really, you know, it was like on the level of what Moses was thinking in his mind. Is like, tell him I am who I am. Tell him I am sent you. Say that. Say I am sent you. Because it wasn't like the Almighty in this realm, which, yes, I say Yahweh, but it's not like, and the mysterious almighty power that we can't wrap our names around, I mean our minds around. His name is Yahweh. So the spirit was like, tell them I am sent you, the one, you know. So anyway, I'm gonna get to Moses because I have to talk about Moses in this as well. So I hope this isn't too tedious for you guys. If you turned it off, I understand, but I hope you get something from it before you did turn it off. Because I went off on something else, but it ties together. So Yahushua said, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. You have to follow him if you want to really be the most powerful of your existence in this realm. 25, for whosoever will save his life, his flesh, shall lose it. You can't, he's like, you can't do it. You're not going to be able to live. You can't. No one can say, I'll live forever, if they don't understand on this level how he's teaching us. So he's like, so if you're trying to save your life, obviously you're in a low vibrational level when it comes to a situation like this. Now, it doesn't mean just lay down and let people bulldoze over you. We're talking about in context of what he is doing and what he's telling them to do, because they continue on and they do what he's taught them, you know, in the you read this in the epistles, and then some of the writings of James, okay, and Jude. So he's like, yeah, if you try to save your life, you'll lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. So he's saying, in the context of them working and doing what he said to do, doing this work, teaching people how to be their best selves, following the prophet stone, the head alchemist, the lead alchemist, the resurrected one, the power, the son of the sun, S-O-N and S-U-N. Yes, the fire of Yahweh, the Son of God. I don't say God, but you know, the almighty power. So says, because he gets more into it, he's like, let me tell you guys, he's like, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? So he's like, you're going to struggle to go against what is prophecy. Then you're going to go against the prophecy. Oh, please help me. I don't know why that will not go off when I touch it. So he's like, look, you have to think about the full package, the spirit, the electricity, you manifesting, going beyond what can be killed, which is this world. He's talking about this existence. And he's like, you're going to lose your soul. The soul is what's working. Remember, I said the energies, what's working inside of you, not exactly the spirit of Yahweh, but what works all together. The column, which in Kemet, the jet, with Ptah, the column, okay, the staff, the rod, the power of Yahweh, then you're working around it. That's your full soul. That's your soul. He's like, well, what can match your soul? Like that's like your best self. Nothing can be exchanged for your soul. Not to those who are high vibrational, but there are people who trade their soul all the time because they're vibrating on a lower level and they want things of the material. They want the praise. They want the fame. They want the money. They want the girl. They want the man. So for 27, for the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels. So he's like, you know what? Not only am I going to resurrect, I'm coming. Yes. Listen, naysayers, I'm glad I get to say this. Remember, I believe in the almighty power, and I believe the Yahweh is the one. I'm not dilly-dallying or straddling the fence. The Son of Man will come in that manifested glory, magnificent glory, the glory that the Almighty, all that little bit that we receive, full blown, Yahweh is coming, and he's bringing those angels, those powerful ethereal beings who will manifest themselves. Yes, I love that word. They will transition into this particular realm in amazing glory. You will drop down to your knees. You will be ashamed if you made fun of. He's going to crack the sky. Oh, he's going to crack more than the sky. And it's not a threat like, here we go with it. It's just facts. So I would suggest that if you don't believe in it, instead of mocking it, leave it alone and just be like, well, you know what? I don't believe in it. So I'm not here to be a clown and make fun of it. Because if it does, I'm saying for you saying if, I know when it does happen, you don't want to be the one. You don't want to be the one who wanted to get a few laughs from a few low vibrational people because you couldn't wrap your mind around not religion, but the manifestation of the metaphysical in reality, like in the forefront, not something that's in the background that people get to make fun of, like, oh, she's blowing that paper, or oh yeah, sure, he walked on water, and oh yeah, you are vibrating on a lower level when you mock things that you don't understand. Miracles take place all the time in this world, in this realm. You understand? Like, if you don't believe it, nobody's saying you have to, but there's a thin line between not believing it and being a scoffer. When you start mocking, you're first off, you're malicious. So you breach that encapsulation. You're vibrating low. You're a lead person. You're not the gold person. You're not working that process of love and alchemy. So like even I'm talking to myself too. I used to really make fun of Christians badly. I mean, because just like everybody else, I was like, damn, God, I can't believe I was lied to. Christianity, damn, it's worshiping Jesus, worshiping Jesus and everything. And then of course I thought it was a free for all for Christians, like, haha, yeah, you stupid Christians. No, we can't do that. Even though I'm sure that I shouldn't be Christian, I can't mock them. Now, don't get me wrong. If I come against somebody like I'm not gonna say his name, but there's a couple real goofy. Her name either. they are those low vibrational toxic people who aren't real Christians. Meaning they're not the people like, there's a brother like Pastor Bennett. He's a real Christian person. Like he doesn't come at people and make fun of people. Like, what kind of person would I be? Like, yeah, you stupid Christian and da, da. So there are good people who are doing these religions. But then there are those people who I talked about, like the Pharisees and Sadducees, who are Christians, and they are annoying. So I'm just saying for future, if you see me firing on them about believing in ridiculous certain things that I find ridiculous, like praying to a guy who looks like one of the Bee Gees. I'm not perfect, you guys. I'm a work in progress and process. So anyway, I got off the topic, but he's like, okay, for the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. See? I just said that. It's like, look, maybe you didn't believe in me. Like, there's a part where he says, look, you know there's some out there that might blaspheme the Son of Man. But if you mess with the Holy Spirit, meaning that power that comes from the Almighty that's here, that is with us in this realm, that's what he's talking about. So you mess with that, you can just forget about it. You might as well hang your hat up. Meaning you're not meaning that, you know, a boulder is going to fall on your head or flaming lava is going to splash down on you. Meaning you're done for. You're so toxic. So yeah, he just said it. He's like, look, every person's going to be rewarded according to his works. So for me, I'm going to take the gamble and say, okay, thank you. Because not a gamble. I take that back. That's ugly. That was wrong to say. I know that I'm not supposed to pray to Yahweh. Okay. So when I hear people that are Christians saying, Jesus is God, I mean, I'm like, no. And it's not right. So I'm getting what's according to my works. If there's somebody saying Jesus is God and Napah, you're a witch and you're teaching wickedness and okay, whatever. Let me get back to finishing this up. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste death. Yeah, let me get back on track. It's because we're getting back to the alchemy of him transmutating, transfiguring, and him saying this is about overcoming death. That's the alchemy. Because 28, look, he says, verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Now, it's not just about, well, they just were lucky. It's talking about, look, you can overcome death. And if you people, not you people, if you out there, certain people who say, oh, the boss said we're not going to die, even they're working on transhumanism as we speak. When I say they, I mean the powers that be, this scientists that you rely on, the ones who you like to say you're a pseudo Napah, and then you go and you ask them something. They're working on the transhumanism, so they know these facts. This is alchemy was the only science at one time. There weren't a bunch of white coats walking around talking about, well, see, Einstein said, and well, if we look at what Mendel says, no. There were the alchemy was science. And that had to be, they're like, no, we can't let everybody get this power. When I say they, I'm talking about the forces, the government of people with those spirits of the Pharisees and Sadducees. They said, no, we can't let them know this. So now he talked about death in that end of chapter 16. He's like, there's some that won't see death. It's telling you, he's about to show them what's up with the resurrection. Because he's talking about what's going to happen to him. He's going to be murdered. And he's saying, this is going to go down. But, He's like, but I got to show some of you something. So chapter 17, we're finally here. It's almost 3 hours. Thank you for those who got something from this. I know I did. I went off on a lot of different roads, but some people might say tangents, but I came back to what we're talking about. We're talking about the alchemy of the transfiguration, the alchemy of the resurrection. We're talking about the alchemy of taking physical matter, this flesh, and turning it into pure energy. And we're all getting, it's all working through a particular type of formula and how we behave, how we treat others. We have to be a certain type of person, meaning we have to be conditioned. We have to be our best selves. You know, fasting, meditating, praying, it's a formula. It's an alchemy. And then we're going to talk about the geometry, the sacred geometry, the something about the mountain. Something about the mountain. You know, just flashed in my mind right now. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I just thought of that. Remember that movie? I just thought of that right now. Wow. When he kept on building that mountain. And see, they hide things from us in plain sight. They, meaning Hollywood, those who, that's their religion. So, the mountain. Let's read chapter 17. And after 6 days, Yahushua takes Peter, James, his brother, and John. These are special people that he's going to reveal this to. Oh, John, his brother, my bad. Takes Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bringeth them up into a high mountain apart. There's that mountain. I do want to say this. From what I've seen and what I've researched, looking at the pyramids, they were made for, I don't know who received, I know there was one architect, Imhotep, but I don't know about the other pyramids. I'm just talking about Saqqara. I'm not talking about the pyramids of Giza, but I am talking about those, but specifically there, I know that there was an architect, Imhotep. He didn't read anything that showed him the secrets of designing that pyramid. Now, does that mean that he didn't know sit down and read about, do the math? Of course he did. But I'm saying at the core of it, he received it from the Almighty and then designed it. And then the math came. And then the book checking came and the working with other people. What I'm saying is these pyramids were made first and foremost for spiritual reasons, because there was an understanding that that particular shape and that place and that type, the stone, the rock, all of that works in moving us into, or helping us, aiding us in this realm to do what people say is impossible, to do the metaphysical, to do the transformation, the alchemy. The prophet's stone is the alchemy, to have everlasting life. You're taking the elements and you're using them to work that so-called magic, which is just the work of the magi, of the alchemist, the scientist. Okay, so in the pyramids, they I believe that just knowing about the mountain and knowing about Saqqara and Imhotep, I had been looking into this a long time. The Most High had that set up for us to reach our highest selves, to be able to resurrect, to go into it and come back alive outside the other side. And you can see that in Kemet. You can see that in the mountains, the White Snake Mountains of Kunlun. You can see it in the, oh my gosh, the mountains of Tibet. You can see that in the stories about the Mount Olympus with the gods. We go in, we can see that in the Hebrew Judeo-Christian teachings. We can see it even in Islam. Entering into the cave, that's a mountain. The cave is on the side of a mountain. You entered into the rock, into the cave, into the mountain, and then a spiritual transformation, transfiguration, and ultimately you can reach your full spiritual electric self. You can move away from the flesh. That's why so many holy writings in different religions go to the mountain. Oh, he received it on the mountaintop, Moses. Oh, well, see, even not even in the spiritual writings, talking about Loyola, which I'm kind of on that guy, but he went into the cave and received the spiritual enlightenment. Muhammad went into the cave, spiritual enlightenment. It's that rock, it's that mountain, something about the mountain. So getting to the tomb, getting to the pyramids that brought down that electricity, that I believe that spiritual energy. I believe that it was understood that when they go into the pyramid with the sacred geometry aligned with a lot of what's out in the cosmos too, the energy that comes down, even on the ley lines, sacred geography, not just geometry, sacred geography, with all that understood, I believe they were like, our dead will come back. We'll resurrect the dead. And I'm not fully sure about the story about ISIS, but I believe that there was some process where also what was it? Y'all, I think it's Osiris? Yeah, Osiris. Well, I don't know the Kemet names. I just know the mainstream names. But there's a process in the pyramid where there's a resurrection. Yes, it is symbolic. I get it, to all you know-it-alls. It's not literal, Napah, but you say it's not literal. These were people that were fully awake in their spirituality. And I know what Yahushua did for the Transfiguration. So there is a flesh that turns into electricity, a complete spiritual self, vibrating that electricity received from the Most High. You understand? I'm not saying solar power. I'm saying that specific type of electricity. So, and after 6 days, Yahushua takes Peter, James, and John and his brother and bring them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. He was energy. His flesh was, he completely showed them, look, I'm going to show you guys what I can do. I'm not trying to be funny. Like, he's just like vibrating energy, vibrating electricity. They literally saw his soul, his spirit. They saw his spirit. They saw him completely go beyond the flesh. And when he went beyond the flesh, what happened was, we also need to know that things happen in threes. Everything that, if you look at the esoteric, you want to look for 3. Okay, so 3, 6, 9. I mean, all numbers, because numbers are the codes to the universe and our existence. We just have to figure them out. Okay, so behold, there appeared unto them Moses, Elias, talking with Yahushua. Now, Moses and Elias, let's just, because it's not stated, obviously they weren't they weren't like flesh. They also were spirit. They were vibrating in that light as well. But see, the reason that the disciples, Peter, John, and James, could see Moses and Elias, now those aren't those the two who, number one, did not see death in a sense? Now, wait a minute. Hold on, Napah. Back up, because you know there's those scrutinizers. Elijah was taken up in the mountain, on the mountaintop, on the chariot. But they looked from the mountain, because knowing in context that they looked in the mountains, we know that he was in the mountains when he was taken up by the chariots of fire. Chariots of fire. Check. Chariots of fire. We're talking about that pure electric energy, that power that shines like the sun. Okay? So I shouldn't have said we're not talking about solar power. Of course it's not solar power, but it's similar. You can, because we have to wrap our minds around things scientifically and things that we know that we're not afraid of, that are, that aren't what people call pseudo. That's why we say, okay, solar power, face like the sun, raiment was shining bright like light. So we know that Elijah, when he was taken up, I made a mistake in my last video too. I meant to say Elijah and I said Elisha, and I mixed those two up. So we know that Elijah was taken up by the chariots of fire. And we also know that Moses, I can get it, Moses, even though he did die or, transition, we know that he was, I think, guarded by the angel. Gotta find it. He was guarded by the angel Michael. So he was a special case where he didn't, he wasn't taken down to what you would call death, hell. He was like in like a kind of stasis lock, if you follow Transformers. And again, I'm not being funny, I'm just saying. So Elijah was taken up. Let me find it, y'all. He was taken up, and then, oh yeah, that's what I know about Moses. He was like in a grave. Nobody knew where his grave was. Like, come on, you guys. He was Moses. Like, I'm saying, in the Torah, they said they didn't know where his grave was. I'm not talking about you naysayers saying, well, where's the grave in the pot? I mean, in Torah, it says nobody knew where his grave was, because, see, it was, he wasn't, he's a symbol. He symbolizes too what Yahushua is doing. Like, y'all know we're up to, right? We're transfiguring. We're transmutating. We are shining, overcoming what is known as hell, death. That's what hell is. We're overcoming the flesh being stuck in the pit. And we're doing the alchemy, transforming it into light. Even though Yahushua too, he dies, but he transforms into the light, and then he brings his flesh back, unlike any of them that they could do. He brings, that's why he's one, the only one. Meaning not the one, the Almighty, the only human being that is chosen to be Hamashiach, the Messiah. Got to keep on clarifying myself. Okay. So that's why those two are there, and they're like, they're with him. Let me see. They're with him because they have similar. It's about overcoming. That's why they're with him. It's about overcoming death. It's about the transmutation, which is the alchemy of turning the flesh into something else, into life. And Yahushua showed them. They actually got to see, like, oh, wow. So the spirit is light. Oh, okay. But the flesh is, remember, the flesh is also pure when you vibe, when you're aligned, well, balanced, and doing, following the natural laws of the Most High, which are written, most of it, if all of it is in the Tanakh, but you gotta, some other stuff is in there. Like, you can't rape people and think you're cool. So there is some stuff in the Bible, in the Torah, in the Tanakh, that is like not the natural law. So where were we? So yeah, we've got him vibrating. We've got the three, that they're similar in the fact that they overcome death in a sense. They overcome death, but the only one who overcomes death comes back and shows us, look what you guys can do. The only one is Yahushua. And let's finish up and see what the scripture says about that. And Moses and Elijah talking with him. And then answered Peter, and because Peter's very zealous, and he says unto Yahushua, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, the number one for Moses, one for Elijah. We've got also, yes, I understand the exoteric. Moses represents the natural, following the natural law that's written in the Torah. Elijah represents the prophecy, and that has, and being the most, the prophet that comes back. We're also talking about John. This was also prompted, this journey to this space right now where we're at, where he is with his disciples, prompted it because of John, Elias. John was Elias. We're going to see some of that in these scriptures, according to these scriptures, okay? So Peter's like zealous, and which is beautiful, but Peter's like, let's do 3 tabernacles. There's that 3. In the esoteric, we can understand that 3 is symbolic of this is the spirit being stronger than the flesh. This is about the power being in the hands of those who are chosen, the power of overcoming flesh with spirit. And in the ultimate way, we say, oh, I wanted to eat that chocolate cake, I resisted it. That's the spirit over the flesh. But we're talking about the ultimate way of, I took my spirit and I totally, there's no flesh here. It's all spirit, but I'm still here in this realm. You're looking at me. I didn't turn in, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't turn into a ghost and then you saw me in the hallway and you thought you're half asleep. This really happened. I just manifested my spirit over my flesh. So that 3 is very symbolic. Remember, 3, 6, 9, especially in the case of like the mountain, the pyramid, okay, in the sacred geometry and sacred geography. So I'm almost done, I promise. After he says that, when he was like, let's set up these altars, while he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud, more spiritual energy, electricity, or whatever you want to say, overshadowed them, meaning it came over them. Didn't put shadows, but it came over them. And behold, a voice out of the cloud. By the way, sound is always going to be there. There's always going to be sound. Sound plays a big part, and it is always on, talking about frequency, vibration, sound. And even someone challenged me on this before, but sound is light and light is sound. 100%. It's another stream. So a voice came out of the cloud which said, this is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. So, and when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and they were sore afraid. Now, see, he was zealous and he's like, this is great, Lord. You know, he's used to getting the miracles. It's like, I got this and this, and which it wasn't that he was being evil, but he was kind of drifting off into that whole, bro, set up a tabernacle. Relax. We're in another level over here right now. You're looking at the alchemy of overcoming flesh and manifesting spirit, totally bringing spirit out. We're beyond tabernacles right now. No, not that you're wrong. You get it? That's why the power came over in mercy. Nobody rained hail and brimstone down on Peter. But it was like, okay, while he spake, it was like, let me just get in here. Right here, what you're looking at, this is the Messiah. He's showing you, he's the alchemist. He's the transmutation. He's a transmuter. He is the one showing you how to be. He's the head alchemist, the prophet stone, the cornerstone. So there's not, yes, of course, tabernacles are important. I have an altar set up right now. An altar is important, but it's at that point we're beyond altars of setting up an altar. This is the altar in the mind, Peter. Understand? So he's like, just follow him. And it's not about one for Moses and one for Elijah. I also want to add that, even in that vein, it's like, no, this is just about what you're seeing from the Messiah, from my son, from Yahushua, which were all the sons and daughters of the Almighty power. However, this is the one. This one. There isn't. Everybody got an altar. You have it a little twisted. There's only one, and he's like, so just hear him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and they were sore afraid because they're like, oh my gosh, is that Yahweh talking to us? And Yahushua came and he was so compassionate, so gentle, so loving, so merciful. He touched them and said, arise and be not afraid. He consoled them. He protected them. And when they had lifted up their eyes, he loved them. And he still does. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man save Yahushua only. It wasn't about 3 altars, even though 3 is very, very crucial. We do not discount the message. That is the deeper message, is that these are also those who did not go into Sheol or hell and death, and there is a story that where's their grave? Oh, there isn't one. But the one who can transform, transmutate, the alchemist, can turn flesh into spirit, vibrating energy, electricity. That's Yahushua. And he's showing them, this is what's gonna, this is what I can do, you guys. Okay, so, and as they came down from the mountain, Yahushua charged them, saying, tell the vision to no man until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. See, he's like, this is just for you guys. This is what I'm going to do. Like, okay, I'm going to come back. I'm getting a little emotional because he's like, I'm going to die, but I'm coming back, you guys. I wanted you guys to see this because I want you to know this is your power. This is your power. And Yahweh sent him, the Almighty power. The Father sent him to show them, guys, this is it right here. Okay, so, and Jesus answered and said unto them, oh, yeah, let's back up a little. He said, don't tell them until I'm risen again from the dead. And his disciples asked him, saying, why then say the scribes that Elijah must come first? Because they're like, they know it's about to go down. And they're like, wait a minute, we haven't seen Elijah. And then Yahushua, this is where I said reincarnation. This is where I said there's more proof that John the Baptist is Elijah. He says this. Verse 11, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, Elijah truly shall come first come and restore all things. He's like, yeah, you guys are right about Elijah. He's coming. Or that's what the prophecy says. Not he's coming. Let me tighten this up here. Verse 11, and Jesus answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall first come and restore all things. But I say unto you that Elias is come already. He's like, the prophecy does say that, but he already came, y'all. It's time. It's time for me to get. I'm almost there. He's come. And they knew him not. That's what he's saying. So let me go back to 12. It says, but I say unto you that Elias is come already. And they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer of them. It's like they did him dirty. They just did what they wanted. They didn't even believe him. Talking about how they chopped his head off. He's like, and they're going to do me dirty too. But that's okay. Why is it okay? Not okay. That's the way it was supposed to be. Because Yahushua said, I'm back. I'm the resurrection. Even he showed us John the Baptist, they didn't kill him. They killed that body. They didn't kill Elijah. They killed that body. I'm talking about, scratch that, rewind. He's saying they didn't kill John the Baptist, who was Elijah. They killed that body. Okay, thank you. But I say unto you that Elijah is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer of them. Verse 13, then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. Bomb drop for those Christians and Hebrews who don't believe in reincarnation. It just says right there. Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. So we've got that reincarnation, that cycle. Finishing this up. Verse 14, and when they were come to the multitude, there came to them a certain... Okay, so that's all. We're good. He went down, did some more miracles. And so as you see, the alchemy is, the transmutation, which is how many times I say manifest, you guys, on the stream? The spirit mutating from the flesh, or coming out and overpowering and completely making the flesh not a factor in a sense. It's the alchemy. Yahushua is the alchemist. The transfiguration is known. We've got that information that I put out there. Please go do some research on it. It's very fascinating about the pyramids and the mountains, and the sacredness of the mountains, the holy mountains where miracles happen, where the dead rise, where the dead go from dead to back to the living and to the purest self in the resurrection. Like I said, it's not any zombie land. It's not death, dead, necrotic flesh moving on it somehow on its own. We're talking about resurrection and purity of self, balance completely, and even beyond balance completely, being able to say, you know what? I just want to be a full spiritual being right now and exist. I want to go full spirit mode. And that's what happened on that mountain. So I hope this was, I hope you received this well. I know it was long. The first 2 hours, probably the visual was off because I forgot that my Wi-Fi, what am I doing? How do I look? It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's about the information. So thank you so much for tuning in. And there was some more information that I found out about the serpent after I did the Sacred Serpent video. It's fascinating. So I'd like to give a little preview. I still have to do part of the series about alchemy and water, yes. But I also want to do alchemy and the feminine. Oh, yeah. The feminine, alchemy, and let's do it this way. Alchemy and feminine, the feminine and the masculine. I'll do it like that. The alchemy of the feminine and the masculine. There you go. Yeah. So much love, peace and black power, peace and black love. All love to everyone out there who's tuning in, whoever you are. As long as you're vibing high and you're listening to this, like, take the meat, spit out the bones. Maybe you don't know that it's meat and you think it's bones, so just put it on the side. do whatever. I hope you really enjoyed this. It was long. I hope that you watched the whole video. I know I went into a lot of different stuff, but go back to it. Go back to it. I'll try to do part 4 as soon as possible. I love you guys. And guess what? Like I do all the time, shout out to Son Etter at the HOK for everything that he does for me and for the people. No matter what anyone says, I always show him love, and I'll always do that, whether I am over there in flesh or not. I'll always be over there in spirit. Much love. That is my first home on YouTube, as far as I'm concerned. Even though I was on YouTube longer before I went over there, that is definitely my first home. And I know who butters my bread. I know who did butter my bread. Not talking about pay, but I know that's the HOK. Son Etter brings people through there. We share information. He shows everyone so much love. I have always said that Son Etter is a legend, and look at my channel. I said we need to show him respect, and I never stopped doing that. So whatever is being said, let it be said. But the facts are there. Shout out to Son Etter, much love. And one more thing. See the Superman? The S? Now this didn't mean Superman. When he went from this is a symbol of Krypton. Talk about that when I go and do some more on the sacred serpent. Much love and peace. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. And Islam, I guess. Shalom. Peace and black power. All praises go to the almighty power, Yahweh, who I call Yahweh. And much love and praise goes to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.